Awesome. And for those that are joining in hot right now, Jay and Rich are going to be joining live in just a few more minutes as we get started. Go ahead and put in the chat where you guys are calling in from, because we have people from all over the world. Awesome. I see Timothy. I see Robert from San Clemente. I see Jose from the Philippines. Awesome. And when you guys share, make sure you're clicking panelists and attendees so everyone else can see your comments. Because if you just put panelists, it's only going to go to a few of us. So awesome. I see Drew. I see Davin. I see Dave. I see Ryan. We got Paul from Vancouver. Omar. Beautiful. There's hundreds of you trickling in right now. Jay and Rich will be on live in a few more minutes. Awesome. I see June from New Zealand. Eva from Canada. Perfect. Well, I want to welcome you guys to this virtual exclusive training with Jay Abraham and Rich Sheffrin. My name is Carlos, and I'm going to be in the background going through the comments, as well as a few of our team members on the call. I see Blaine, I see Sean, I see Monique. Perfect. This is awesome. We got people from all over the world. Hundreds of you are still trickling in right now. I want to share something real quick. Basically, you guys are logging into this exclusive training with Jay Abraham and Rich Sheffrin, where we're going to be going through, it's going to be no fluff, no nonsense, marketing breakthrough strategies that are working currently. So you guys were fast action takers, and I just want to honor you guys for investing your time, because that's the most important resource we have. And I see hundreds of you are still trickling in. This is awesome. I see Larry from Florida, Bella, Thomas. Jay is going to be just a few more minutes, and then we're going to get started. I see Kurt. Beautiful. Go ahead and put in the chat if anyone's who's excited for this call. I know if you guys were in here last week, I know that unfortunately we had some internet issues, but we are back live now. So I see people who are excited. Perfect. Wonderful. Jay is going to just be joining in a few short minutes, and then we will get started. And it's going to be an awesome session. I'm excited. Perfect. I see ready to go. I see Paul. I see Rowan. Welcome from Sydney, Australia. Perfect. Is anyone here? Is it early AM for them? 2 a.m., 3 a.m.? I know over here, Pacific Standard Time, it's 3. Eastern Standard Time at 6 p.m. Jose, perfect. 6 a.m. Awesome. Tokyo, Japan. Awesome. Beautiful, beautiful. I love it. And people are still trickling in, so we're just going to give it a few more minutes, guys, and then we're going to get started with this. But real quick, let me, as Jay logs in, and then we get started, I just want to introduce Jay real quick. For those of you that don't know, many of you already know who Rich and Jay are, but I know some of you may not. So if you don't know who Jay is, I mean, we're talking about if you've been influenced by any marketing consultant, any business expert out there, they've most likely been influenced by Jay Abraham or Rich Sheffrin in terms of the online marketing space or just business in general. I mean, Jay, I like to reference him as a business grandmaster and marketing legend. I mean, he's influenced anyone from the Tune to Tony Robbins, Damon John, Stephen Covey, just a marketing legend. Jay is your mentor. Awesome. And Rich Sheffrin, again, in itself, a pioneer in the internet marketing industry, a marketing genius in of itself. These two are legends combined and have probably influenced and mentored more people, more business marketing experts than probably any other two individuals combined. And so we have the honor of having both of them on today live. And it's going to be a wild, absolute mind-blowing session. So you guys are going to want to take out your notepad, have a pen and paper ready, turn off your phones for the next around 2 hours. And it's just going to be a mind-blowing session where you can literally take the strategies you're learning today and start applying them to your business to start mining your next marketing breakthrough. So it's going to be absolutely incredible. And we're just waiting for Jay to be on live. He should be jumping in. I see Rich here in the background. Perfect. All right. And we are in the right place. Welcome, Andrew. Jim, welcome. And video. Yep. Rich has HD quality. He's at his place. So there's hopefully, God willing, there's no issues this time. But we appreciate you all who were on last week and joining now. Good things come to those who wait. So we're excited. And I see Jay just jumping on. Welcome, Jay. We have hundreds of people currently on right now.
Jesus. All right. This is so funny. I don't know what, Rich, the fake gods are playing havoc with us. So my computer my laptop is temporarily dead recharging. So I'm starting this on my phone, but I will move as soon as I have adequate power to my laptop. But that shouldn't be a deterrent because this is a reason to celebrate. We are getting ready to enjoy.
Pop your phone up there. You don't have to hold
let's see if that'll work. Yeah, okay. Can you see me okay this way?
Yeah, and this way you don't have to hold it. That works.
Yeah, that's Desiree's so smart. Okay, so everybody, in the midst of adversity, Rich and I plod on, don't we, Rich?
We always do.
Okay, so everybody, those of you who missed out because we had a technological snafu last time, and now I have a little one. This is a really auspicious opportunity because of all the people I know in digital, online, social media marketing, there is no one that I know that I have more respect for and more intrigued with than Rich Schefren for many reasons. Number one, he is the ultimate research scientist. He is unrelenting in trying to understand the implications, the applications of highest performance in every facet of online. And he has dedicated the last couple of years to creating a research business that identifies and probes and penetrates to understand who and what are the most powerful, profitable, and disruptive methodologies, nuances, and breakthroughs occurring in all facets of digital marketing at any point in time. Meaning, he has seen that if you can master the current, let's see if I can say this right, because I loved how you said it the other day to me, the current disruptive breakthroughs, you have a window of opportunity that is asymmetric, where you're going to get returns, results, profits, responses way out of proportion to anybody else you compete against. And Rich has a research advisory service called Steal Our Winners, where every month he interviews one or more breakthrough thinkers who at that freeze point position of time, that window of time, that man or woman has identified, discovered, refined, and perfected an aspect of digital, social media, online marketing that is outperforming anyone and everything else by orders of magnitude. And it's a window that is diminishing because people find out about it later. But right now, you have enormous advantage. And what we're going to explore today are some of the current huge, outsized, little known, little utilized winners that Rich has uncovered that are breakthrough, disruptive, leading edge, outsized, performing anything else being used. Is that a good enough setup, Rich?
I think so. I think it is. And I think we're going to do more than just that, though. I'm going to give people a little bit of an insight on really what I believe is one of the most valuable things I've learned from you, above and beyond all the marketing tactical stuff and strategies. And then also just what is the best way for, or at least the way that I do it, and I'm not necessarily the best way, but the way that is best for me, which might apply for others, as far as how to go about capturing information so that as they come across things that work, they're more likely to actually spot it and be able to capitalize on it. So you're ready to get this thing started. So what is that, Jay?
I've got four kinds of, this is called attention assist. It is a combination. I got a client that sells this stuff: frankincense, vetiver, lavender, cedarwood. Then I got another one that's called focusing. And this one is let's see,
And do they
rosemary,
work?
peppermint. Yeah, well, it works. I mean, you got to put it close to your nose and around your ear, but it works on the meridians for about a half an hour. It gives you acuity. Then I got peppermint, my old favorite peppermint. You never use this stuff?
No, I haven't. And did you know this? I was just reminded of this, that we're not supposed to talk about it right now, but we're going to tell people where they can get it at the end of this
Oh, great.
presentation today. So this is a book that is being given out to Tony Robbins, like top mastermind, and we're going to tell you how you can get it for free, and we'll tell you at the very end. So
Yeah, great. And so Rich is going to, Rich is going to lead, but I'm going to chime in at intervals, but only when I think I can add context, value, or a slice and a dice. So it's going to be pretty much Rich's show because he is the knowledge master at this point. So take it away, please.
Okay, Jay, and yep, by all means, chime in anytime that you want. Let's see. I'm going to now switch over to a slide here. So is this Google Chrome desktop 2, right? Yeah, there we go. So now let's see. We should, let's see. Jay, are you okay, so cool. Oh, great. Awesome.
I'm here.
And you can, yeah, well, you can't see the slides because you're on your phone, right?
Yeah, no, it says explosive growth of breakthrough marketing. Cool. I see it.
So
it's
then
right in the center of my phone. And Rich, I'm going to ask Desiree to give me your charger just in case my computer. So I'm going to put it on mute so you don't hear me yelling. Okay.
All right.
I'll be right back. You go ahead and start.
No worries. All right. So we're talking about the explosive growth of a breakthrough marketing idea. And for most of you, the odds of you ever coming across an idea like this are pretty slim. And I want that to change for each and every one of you. I'm not talking about a marketing tactic that you hear about or use that all of a sudden like bumps your conversion a little bit. I'm talking about a strategy or tactic that takes your entire business and multiplies it, multiplies the profit, multiplies the growth rate, et cetera. And so those are the types of ideas that we're talking about. And these types of ideas really have the power to grow at 2x, 5x, 10x your business in a very fast period of time. And that doesn't matter whether your business is old or new. It doesn't matter whether it is small or large. It doesn't matter whether you are selling a product or a service. And it doesn't matter if you're online or offline. Okay. And so one thing, though, that these ideas all have in common is how they age, right? Some things don't age well, others do, right? So wine ages well. It gets more expensive, more valuable over time. On the right-hand side, you see milk. Milk does not get better over time. It gets moldy over time. And obviously, that's a problem. So breakthrough marketing strategies age more like milk than they do like wine. And there's a good reason for that, but that reason is only accelerated over the last bunch of years as more and more of the online space becomes kind of like a copycat community with funnel hackers who are quickly trying to figure out what works and copy it, as well as, just the whole world being interconnected by the internet. So the way I like to explain it to people these days is how the progression of ideas and what happens for them. So over time, right, results plummet. So a new marketing strategy, something that's different, something that's unique, something comes out, it will have its highest results in the very beginning when no one else is doing it, when very few people are doing it, and the rest of the world doesn't know about it. Over time, though, as more people know about it, as more people see it, as more people employ it, then it becomes more of the same to everyone else as well, and results go down over time, right? But that's horrible enough as it is. But if you also look at the effort to get the result over time, the effort to get the result increases over time. So you're left with the results going down over time. At the very same time, the effort to get the result goes up over time. And so you end up with a chart or graph that looks like this, right? Results go down over time, effort goes up over time. And so you really want to know about the strategy. You want to employ the strategy in your business at the very beginning, right? Where insiders talk about it, where people are sharing it with one another, close friends, colleagues, etc. Right? Generally, by the time it gets into a course, it's more along the middle. You still get results, but you have to put in effort. It's not disproportionate, but it's more equal. Then as more time goes on, eventually you have to put in a lot more effort to get the same result. And I want to give you a few examples of that from my own life, just to kind of show you that this process that I'm talking about, if you look at your own life, I'm sure that you've seen these if you've not experienced these, right? So the first example is the manifesto that I wrote, right? When I wrote a free PDF, that's all it was, a 31-page PDF back in 2006, and I gave it away free. But at that time, no one had done that. They were charging for that type of information. The results were Brunson, $3.5 million in about 6 to 8 weeks. It made $7.4 million in the first 12 months. And it did 10 plus million a year for any year pretty much beyond that, as far as driving my business forward. After that, I taught it to some clients of mine. I taught it to Alex Jeffries, who wrote a report called Guru's Nightmare, who brought back him 7 figures. I taught it to Mike Filsaime. He wrote The Death of Internet Marketing. I taught it to Anik Singhal. He wrote The Circle of Profit. And I created a course where it was really a workshop. It was $15,000. I taught that in 2011, right? So if we go back to the graph for a second, wait, well, let me go to the graph. I want to go to the graph for a second. Sorry about that. I want you to recognize that the highest time was during that time when I released it and when I taught the people that were around me how to do it. By the time that I taught it to others, it still worked well and we still got great results from it, but it was not disproportionate. And I want to make sure that nobody thinks that if they were to release a high value PDF today, that would be enough. But at the time when I actually released it in 2006, it worked so well that I spent in 18 months, I wrote 7 different reports. And the one that is the middle one on the bottom there is one that Jay and I wrote together called the Maven Matrix Manifesto. But these reports were really what put me on the map, grew my business, everything else, because at that time, this was a strategy that worked incredibly well, right? And so when I just want you to recognize that, like, think about if you were to release a free report today, like what would the results be? Would you be able to just have it go viral and bring back $3.5 million? And how little would you have to do for that to actually happen? Because all I did was put it on a blog. So you can see that the effort to get the result way more now, and the results that you would get from it way less, right? The next example is regarding Agora and the VSL. So if you don't know who these two are, it's Mark Ford and Bill Bonner. And this is the 3 of us in Nicaragua. And this is what Mark Ford had to say about this one strategy.
We went from 100 to a billion because of that precise thing.
So that's what Mark had to say. Here's a letter from Bill
And Rich,
Bonner.
I don't think everybody heard it. It's loud. Would you paraphrase it, please?
Yeah, he said that one idea took us from 100 million to over $1 billion. And here's a letter from Bill Bonner to me, thanking me for the VSL because it increased the response rates by 300% in France, by 250% in Germany. And when it was combined with a big idea promo in the End of America, they had the best newsletter promotion in all history. Now, what I want people to know is the timeline as it relates to VSLs, because I didn't invent the VSL. I was just fortunate enough to be an insider and see it, right? But John Benson invented the VSL in the end of 2005, early 2006, right? When he did it, sales exploded. In 2006, he created the first VSL for someone else. It was Mike Geary of Six Pack Labs, abs. And that's when I saw it. That's when I brought it to Agora. That one change, right, that I brought to Agora took them from 100 million plus to over $1 billion. Just that one strategy, just VSLs, right? Now, in 2009, John taught VSLs to a select group of people at Boardroom. Brian Kurtz put it on. Most of the big copywriters were invited to the event, but it was not open to the public. In 2010, the very first course on VSLs came out. So look at that. 2005 is when John Benson invented the VSL. The first time a course was out there to teach you about VSLs was 2010. And in 2010, VSLs still worked really well. Did they work as well as they did in 2005 and 6? No. But they still worked really well, and it was still valuable. And so people bought a course and they went through it and they learned it. In 2017, though, at Agora, we found that there was no difference anymore between a VSL and a long form sales letter. So at that point now, there was no difference, right? And any extra work that went into a VSL made no difference. Like it didn't move the needle anymore. So there was this time in history, right, where if you jumped on VSLs, your business exploded. And that was a unique, specific time. And before that, you probably would have benefited, but no one thought of it. But after that, nobody benefits, right? And that's the key idea that I want to start reinforcing here about this timeline, about results going down, effort going up. But I want to show you a few more examples, just two, right? So automated webinars, I invented the automated webinar in 2008. It was actually on a project that we were working on for Jay when we were doing automated teleseminars, and then it kind of birthed into automated webinars. And so in 2008, I wrote a report called Supercharge Your Marketing with Evergreen Event-Driven Marketing. And I laid out a customer journey, really, that someone that was going through an automated webinar, what would happen as far as did they show up or not? What happens if they don't show? What happens if they show? And how to indoctrinate people before the webinar, et cetera. This was the model that basically everyone in the industry followed, primarily because, I taught it to quite a few people. So in our business, right, we went from selling a couple of back ends a month to back in 2008, when we were the first people really running automated webinars, we went to selling about 10 to 15 of our back end sales every day. So a couple a month to 10 to 15 a day. I taught it to Mike Filsain and gave him the software, and that's what became EverWebinar, then Webinar Jam, et cetera. I taught it to Russell Brunson because he owed the federal government over $1 million in back payroll taxes, which he was afraid he was going to go to jail for because his business had a reversal and he owed the government $1 million plus in back payroll taxes. The webinar at that time, because it was so new in the software, within 30 to 60 days, he was able to make the $1 million back, pay off the government, and the rest is history, right? Frank Kern learned this same process as well and boosted his business. I taught it to Todd Brown as well. 2 years later, I did a workshop on this process, right? So still relatively new. I didn't sell it to everyone. I just sold it to people who were subscribers of Founders Club. And then 2 years after that, like webinar courses started hitting the market. Now, anyone who's run webinars for any period of time knows that it's harder and harder and harder to get people to show up, right? I'm not sure how many people are on this webinar right now, but we had well over 2,000 people register. And there was a time when we would have like 70 or 80% show up without any effort, right? Nothing special had to be done. Most people stayed, right? But that time has long passed. And so today, right, we're once again, there might not be anything better than that, but you certainly have to put in a lot more effort to get whatever results you're going to get. And it's no longer a slam dunk, right? So let me tell you about live streaming, which to me is the most obvious as far as the amount of effort that needs to happen in order for something to happen, right? So more about the effort side of the equation than the result side, but same difference. So with live streaming, we were the first to live stream from an event. We did it back in the beginning of 2007. We snaked an ISDN line through a hotel so that we could do it. And just because we were live streaming from a seminar, we had 10,000 people show up. Not because of anything special except a couple of posts like on the Warrior Forum. But you got to remember, no one had ever seen a live stream from a seminar before. This was new. And because of that, we could have gotten more people, but 10,000 was our max. And the way the seminar worked was that it was a free seminar for my coaching clients. So we made the first hour free to the world. And then I made an offer where if anyone became a coaching client right now, they could then watch the rest of the seminar at home. And we ended up selling out within 3 minutes. We were selling over 100 people a minute into the coaching program from that, because this was just exciting and new and brand, and all the things that we're talking about here, it hadn't been done before, it hadn't been seen, right? Then that was 2007. 2008, I did a 24-hour live stream. Jay showed up a couple times to say hi, and that was on September 17th, 2008. And I was on Ustream for 24 hours live, sitting at my desk in my office there. And we beat John McCain that day. That was when he was running against Obama. So our actual live stream that day had more people show up than any other live stream on the internet. But it took me doing 24 hours. And I just want to be clear, I was on that at my desk for 24 hours straight. And we got about 30,000 people to tune in. Okay. Now, fast forward to 2019, right? 2020, actually, February of 2020, I did another live stream. Now, on this live stream, it went 24 hours straight, less like the one in 2008. But instead of just me sitting at a desk, it was me and 30 of the top online marketers, all at Mark Ford Cigar Bar, all broadcasting live. And guess how many people? It included Ryan Dice, myself, Neil Patel, Russell Brunson, et cetera. Guess how many people that had on it? It had 30,000 people. So the same amount of people as I myself had alone, but that was 12 years earlier. Just to show you the amount of effort that has to happen to get the same result 12 years later, right? It is not the same. And so the idea is that, these were some of the people that were at that event. This was at my house. Like, we did a mastermind the day of. And so you can see just a lot of people, I guess is my point there. But you can see that like these timelines are very true to everything that I've shown you here, that the results just go down over time, the effort higher over time, right? And so the question that you should be asking yourself is, well, okay, so there are these ideas that grow businesses dramatically. They're not likely for me to just come across in a course, obviously, or in a forum. So how do you get these ideas, right? And how do you know whether it's the right time? And so the first thing that I want to talk about, and I think I can I'm going to pass through some of this really fast, I think, because most of you know me, but I will I guess I'll play a video. Yeah.
And Rich, the last one.
Okay, so can you know what to do? So I'm going to talk to you, Jay, and then Jack over here is going to do something on my computer. So go ahead.
I was going to say the last one we couldn't hear very well. So Jack, if you can, I don't know if you can adjust it so everyone can hear the volume.
Yeah, that's what he's about to do.
Good.
Yeah. So, so Jay, I was thinking about it, some of your ideas that you took from the direct response world into the entrepreneurial market I think all of those ideas, when you first brought them over, had that power. They probably also didn't spread anywhere near as quickly because there wasn't that same kind of everybody seeing what everyone else is doing,
That's right,
at any given moment. And I'm going to so have you noticed a difference in the timeline of how ideas kind of travel even in the stuff that you're doing, which might be different than as polluted as the online world?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a pro and a con. The kind of stuff that I do mostly, Rich, are not online, although they all have some presence there. So I'm able to have a little bit more of the phenomena you're talking about, because most of the people come to me because they want to be disruptors of some sort in their industry, and they want to do it with rapidity and with low risk. And a lot of the stuff I'm all about are so out of sync with the linear way their industry operates that we get the same equivalent. And even though we do it, a lot of people just don't understand it. I have as an example, 100-year-old, very conservative dental supply company. They've got certain kinds of drills and things like that. They're proprietary. And we're doing something which is unprecedented. We're giving dentists business growth expertise gratis if they buy from them instead of their competitors. That's pretty mundane for most people, but nobody in their industry does that. They just try to sell them. They don't try to really grow them. And I used that in China 10 years ago, and they took a candy company from number 5 to number 1, and they sold half interest to Hershey's, or 49%. So yeah, but I don't do very much online. But I mean, when I started, and it was the days before online, so you couldn't, as Rich said, you couldn't knock somebody off that easy. Shoot, I did outrageous stuff with risk reversal that killed. I did outrageous stuff with qualitative bonuses that killed. I did outrageous stuff with with describing things and animating inanimate objects that killed. I did outrageous stuff with bullets that nobody was doing, but I mean, that was at a different time.
It's kind of like the J mailing, right? Like, so
Yeah.
Back in the old days, guys, there used to be a very effective, like, direct response mailing tactic, which was basically taking your whole sales message and either putting it into a fake magazine ad or a newspaper ad, and then having it kind of be torn down one of the sides so that it looks like it was torn out of a magazine or a newspaper. And it would be folded up, and then there'd be a post-it on it, and it would be to the first name of the person with a comma. I thought you would be interested in this, and then just the letter J below. And the reason it was a letter J was because there are more first names that start with the letter J than any other. And the whole idea of it was that someone would receive it and assume that someone had sent it to them because they felt that they would be interested in it, someone that knew them. And then because of that, it got that pass, that short little kind of momentary lack of clarity on the prospect's part that this is actually a sales message. And so whether, the first Magalogs had that, the first Bookalogs had that, the first VSL had that, they all had the same thing, which was like this way that wasn't as clear as your standard ad that something is trying to be sold to you. And so, like, my experience was that even in like newspaper advertising, where you might get slugged if you ran an ad that looked so similar to the newspaper style, we would call it getting slugged, which would mean that on the very top it would say advertisement on it. But most people don't look at that, and so a advertorial type of ad still did much better for us, and it was leveraging that same element.
Yep.
Like,
Rich,
Jay, you probably have had.
Rich,
Yeah.
you are a little bit. You're loud, and I think it's distorting a tiny bit. So
Okay, I can turn that down.
maybe the volume just a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can do that on my end.
Good. Okay.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, and everybody, first person that figured this out. What was really fascinating, Rich, excuse my voice, is that they took an ad that did not work in the newspaper, and they made it. They made millions of dollars by using that technique on it.
Really?
Yeah, John, I can't remember his last name is. He was an insurance guy, and he tried it and it didn't work well, but he decided to just do one more experiment. He took the ad that was very, very, very poor performing, and he did that, and he had somebody actually, they printed them, and then they ripped them against a saw so it looked torn. And then they had automatic typewriters do that, and it got to the point where they took it to one more level where it got personalized after they did that over years, and it reinvigorated it. But yeah, it turned just a terribly unsuccessful ad into a multi-million-dollar moneymaker.
Well, we did it a couple times at the hypnosis centers, and then we did one for weight loss, and we rented diet pill buyers, and that kind of backfired on us because
What happened?
I got it just never occurred to us. And once I got the nasty call, I recognized that the nasty call was spot on. We sent it to some people, and this one father called whose daughter had died of anorexia, saying like, don't you think this is inappropriate? And I was like, because like a J mailing is like a friend, and a friend referring to someone else being overweight, it could cause some, this went to someone who'd already passed away, but yeah, I was like, wow, okay.
Wow,
I guess it's not useful in all situations.
No, but that's, it's an anomaly. But,
Yes.
it's, you've seen the old days of mailing, probably the same thing with emailing and everything else. You get people that are incensed for reasons that make no sense, and they take it personally, but it's not intention. But back at the ranch, by the way, I'm going to turn my air off, but keep talking. I'll be right back.
All right. So let's dive back into this. Of course, Jack got rid of it's no longer in the same presentation mode, but okay. So I can't see my notes. Let's see. I can't even see here. Hold on. Where I will be live again in a second. All right. I don't know. I'm not. There we go. All right. So how do you get the idea, and how do you know the right time? And let's see. All right. So why should you listen to me? Well, I think I'm the only guru that's in the space that has been hired to teach at Google, Microsoft, and Yahoo. There is the who's who of basically the legend of direct response, people like Dan Kennedy, right? There's Jay. Rich is one of the rare individuals who actually transforms lives, business fates, and financial destinies, right? Brian Tracy, and probably my favorite quote as far as what it says: Rich has turned more startup entrepreneurs into 7- and 8-figure success stories than anyone else I know. And that was from J. Conrad Levinson. Now, let me just say that, I'm always told that I need to do this, but I don't like doing this. So I'm going to play this video. This kind of credentializes me. Then we can just move on from this. Here is a 3-minute video, I think, although it seems like it's right in the middle of it. So we'll see what happens. Here we go. I can't hear it. Can you hear that, Jay?
Yes, I can. It's great.
Oh, cool.
I was a one-man show, closet warrior, as we say, and Rich gave me the courage to realize that I had a real business. And from there, I was able to go not from just a 7-figure business, but to an 8-figure business within the next 2 years.
I went from making a 5-figure income to a 7-figure income.
And my blog went from $5,000 a month to $15,000 a month, and then $20,000 a month.
I believe we went from 1.3 million to 2.4 million within a year.
Everybody else was just coming up with the tricks and the hacks. Here was this guy who brought not just practical digital online marketing wisdom, but he brought practical business with him.
Everybody I know is like, you need to know Rich.
This is the guru's guru. This dude teaches all the people that we're all reading from.
You got to go to the guru to the gurus.
This guy is the guru to the gurus.
When you get inside kind of the inner circles, everybody knows who Rich is.
Rich was the first person who really explained online marketing in a way that I really could understand and apply.
It was like the light came on in a dark room and I saw, there's a whole layer to running a business I'd never thought about.
Since the time that I started working with him, I've generated, millions and millions of dollars in revenue.
More money started coming in. Then all of a sudden I'm producing products and coaching programs and building an audience that needs what I am good at.
And I'm getting $5,000 for my 12-week program. I'm getting $2,000 for my 4-week program.
But I want to say this, that it's been about more than just the money. I feel like in many ways he gave me my life back.
Besides being a guy who thinks strategically and thinks in terms of solution, Rich is a good guy.
It was freedom. That's the easiest way I could put it. It was freedom.
A sense of freedom, a sense of hope and future, where I could see a path to get to where I wanted to go that I wasn't going to get to on my own.
Someone like Rich can really put worth in you that you're not seeing.
Confidence. in business, so much of our success depends on our own internal confidence.
Having the confidence, knowing the fundamentals and understanding how the business moves.
He works with people who are having your same problem. So he's able to show me someone like me. It's not just someone talking about hypotheticals. These are tried tactics that he's done year in, year out.
I'm glad he's back around, helping people.
I'm excited he's coming out of retirement.
I know that anything that comes out from Rich Shepard is going to be top quality.
Best coach, best mentor of my life.
His main concern is making sure that he's delivering more than he promises in every project that he works on.
It had a huge impact on my business, so I'm excited for all the people who will benefit from it this go round. I would just say do it before he goes back into the vault.
I think that you will get just some immense value from working with him.
Even better than he seems, which is rare on the internet.
So, Rich, I have a question, and maybe it's me. Did you feed all these people speed?
Oh no, we sped it up a little bit so that it wouldn't take as long. We made it like 1.25.
It's good.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
make it more interesting as well. And then also,
going, wow, they're fast.
yeah, these guys are excited to talk about it.
Okay.
Yes, it's like this constant thing. Like you got to tell people without seeming arrogant, like of your past. It's always a challenge, I find, at least. But this is a part that, like, for me, hopefully kind of helps everyone recognize whether or not they're even doing the right things to really be able to mine any good idea that they come across. And so I think that, we live in a world today that, for the most part, information is kind of the bedrock of reality, and how you deal with information, how you deal with it coming at you, how you deal with it, like what your feelings are about it, like whether you feel like you got to read everything in your email box or not. And basically your overall approach to information, does it serve you? Does it help you? Is your business growing because of it, or is it not? And my assumption would be, for most of you, is that it's not. And so there's a field of study called personal knowledge management. I learned a lot of this from a gentleman who is really like fully entrenched in this area. His name is Tiago Fort, and we traded some consulting time a couple years ago. So I want to show you my personal knowledge management system, kind of just walk you through some of the basics. It'll take about 2 minutes. And this
Rich,
way you
excuse me 1 second.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get on my laptop. So just wait 1 second in case there's a double voice. I don't want to screw you up. Okay. Let's see if it works, and then I'll get. Yeah. Okay, you see me good. I'm gonna get off of this. Bye.
There we go.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay,
there you are. All right, cool. So personal knowledge management. So it starts with personal curation, right? Like basically, what are those inputs that you're allowing into your life? And my suggestion to you is that you should be using like some kind of RSS feeder, like a Feedly or whatnot, but something that is aggregating for you, kind of like, instead of information gathering, information trapping of the things that are most like appropriate for you, right? Whenever you're seeking something, if you come across a good source, it's about making sure that that gets into your Feedly or bookmarking it in a way where you will come across it again. I'm going to show you what I do specifically in a second, but these are the overall steps, right? So now it's about making sense of what you've come across. That's kind of the idea. You're personally curating your material that you look at, and then you're trying to make sense of what you're seeing. You do that by filtering the information, capturing it, progressively summarizing it, which I'll explain in a moment, personalizing the information, like making it very applicable to you, linking it with other parts of your information, other things, other thoughts, other projects you've worked on, etc. Right? And then you share it, and sharing it in whichever ways, whether that's putting content online, sharing with your clients and customers, or whether it's sharing it with colleagues or friends, there's an element of output, right? Now, that output to others is what allows you to create value in the world, as well as to be able to articulate what you've gotten from the seek and the sense. So for me, I operate out of Evernote. That is the one application that I use. There are better applications, but they're more advanced. It would take me more time to learn, and I just haven't felt the need to. And so I stick with Evernote. But everything of mine goes into Evernote, right? So audio messages that I record on my phone to myself, get transcribed, goes into Evernote, right? My emails, any email I plan on reading, like any long email, it goes into Evernote. Anything I read on my iPad that's Goodreader goes into my Evernote. Anything from Google Docs that I'm going to read goes into my Evernote. Anything from Chrome, any article I come across online, I don't read it online. It goes into Evernote first, right? There's Feedly, those are the RSS. Any of my handwritten notes, they go into Evernote, right? Any notes that I just take on my laptop, Get Pocket, any articles that Get Pocket thinks is going to be good for me, anything from my Dropbox I'm planning on reading goes in there. Anything from this service that I just really like, it's called Podcast Notes. And what they do is, I think it's like a $99 a year service, and they take notes on the most popular podcasts and they deliver them to you. There are so many great guests on podcasts that it's not a bad thing to have, right? So not all podcasts, but like Joe Rogan, Tim Ferriss, like these kinds of ones, and anything from any of my devices. So everything goes into Evernote. When I first see it in Evernote, if it's not anything I need to hold on to, if it's not worth reading and rereading, then I delete it. So it just goes in there automatically, and now I'm deleting it from there as opposed to deleting it from anywhere else. But if I don't delete it, then I'm going to start to think about, what does this apply to? What does this relate to? And it's in that linking, right? Making connections with this, with other things, that really locks it into my brain. In fact, I have a really crappy memory, which most people find hard to believe if they work with me in information and stuff like this. But if they know me in my personal life, they know how bad my memory is. Like, I can't remember what I had for breakfast. I don't even remember a movie. I have to watch it like 3 times to remember that I remembered watching it once. But when it comes to information, I lock it in, and it's primarily because of what I do with it. Automatically, right? And so it's not about the grasping of information where you really learn it. It's in the connecting it to what you already know, or the things that you already think about, that really make the difference as far as locking in information. So this is a note from my Evernote box, right? And it's actually my book notes from something I read of Dan Kennedy's. He wrote this thing called Mind Control Copy. And so I read it, I highlighted it, those highlights went into Evernote. So what you're looking at here are not the actual document, but these are my highlights of the document. And what you see here is that some of it is bolded, some of it is bolded and highlighted, and I want to explain the process. So, I highlighted this PDF that Dan Kennedy sent out, and all the highlights, right? Because this came out way before I started using Evernote this way. So I highlighted it, but all the highlights made it into Evernote, right? And so the first time that I come across a note, if it's worth keeping, I'm also going to start bolding anything I think is important. Select, bold, select, bold. And I know anytime I come across a note that's been bolded, I've touched it once. Now, I don't take notes through different steps just to take them through steps. Definitely the first pass. But then after that, I'm only going to come across that note as it's relevant to me on a project. So I'm going to do a search. It's going to come up. And now I see this. And if I'm going to touch the note again because it's appropriate to what I'm working on, I am only now looking at what I bolded. And I'm now going to highlight what is most important of the bolded. So now I have, these are just highlights in this Evernote. They are now, I've gone through it one pass and I've bolded it. Now I'm only looking at what I've bolded, and I'm now highlighting what's most important, right? Then the next pass through, I am taking anything I bolded and highlighted, and I'm copying and pasting it and having it move to the top. Then if I come across a note that has everything I highlighted and bolded on the top, I now will start writing about it. I will actually start to interact with the text, my thoughts, my ideas, why I thought that was important, etc. And I have something called wisdom notes, which are like, for me, on a topic, I will then pull together everything that I've written, plus I've gone through those passes with, and that will then sit as a wisdom note on a topic. But, in the past, when I would write these reports, like I showed you earlier, like in 2006, 2007, I have boxes of index cards that at some point I want to get into my Evernote because they're just sitting in a box. They're completely no longer accessible. They don't relate I know there's stuff in the box that relates to stuff I work on today, but they're completely gone out of my head. I want to leave a trail of breadcrumbs for myself to make my way back to anything that's smart and intelligent, because I'm not going to rely on me having smart, intelligent ideas all the time. I want to capture the ones that I'm lucky enough to have and be able to use them by linking them forward into new things. And so, this is where it all starts for me and where it should start for you. It's a picture of Jay, and it's something that I first learned from Jay, and that's why I have him there. And, when I started working more closely with Jay, one of the things that I noticed was that every time that we would talk on the phone, he would ask me, what's working? That was the very first question that came out of his mouth. And if I said, well, nothing for me is working, then the next question was, well, what have you seen out in the market working? And it occurred to me pretty quickly that if Jay was talking to 20, 30, I don't know how many people in a day, and he asked everyone that question, by the end of the week, he would have a better clue and finger on the pulse of what was going on in the world of marketing as far as what was working than anyone else, because most people don't ask what's working. They say, what's new? And most people won't tell you what's working to the question, what's new? They'll think it's more personal, right? So this idea of knowing what's working for a large group of people is extremely valuable. And it's something, like I said, I've learned from Jay, but I tend to ask people all the time now, what is working? What's working for you, or what have you seen working? And you'd be shocked if you start asking that question that you will know more than you know now if you're not asking that question. So it's pretty straightforward, but that's the idea there. And I built a product all around that, right? About what's working now. So while I learned this from Jay as just a conversation, the way to start conversations, in fact, I've turned this into a product, which is Steal Our Winners. And the idea is to deliver to our subscribers each and every month, right, the tactics and strategies that are currently crushing it that the world does not know about, which is, to look at that graph again, where insiders play, right? It's about knowing VSLs before everyone's using them. It's about knowing automated webinars before everyone's using them. And I'm going to show you some things today that are things that are working incredibly well right now that most people do not know about, that if you were to do them now, you would work incredibly well. I guarantee you, especially the last one I want to show you, it is a game changer today. It will be a game changer for the next couple of years, and then it will become the exact opposite. So let's kind of proceed, right? So the first one is, and so what these strategies are, what I'm sharing with you are the strategies that are somewhere along that continuum, but I'm going to point out the ones that are all the way at the beginning of the continuum. Okay. As far as where the results far exceed the effort going in. So can a single premium initiate over 1,000 sales of your high ticket offer? Now, for most of you, at least those that know me well, you know that I've worked with Agora for 17 years. And in those 17, and actually it was Jay that first introduced me to Agora, because in a project that we were working on, we asked Early to Rise to be an affiliate for us, and then that put me in touch with Will Bonner, and so on and so forth, that led to things. But Agora their front end is primarily newsletters. And to sell a newsletter, you generally don't advertise the newsletter. You advertise a bonus that you get for free when you subscribe to the newsletter. And that's one of the kind of tricks, if you want to call it a trick. It's not really a trick, but it's one of the ways that Agora has grown to the size that they've grown, because you could have 20 different copywriters all working on a promotion for the same product, but they'd all have 20 different promotions because the copywriters would be responsible for the premium. And since the first half of the newsletter is all about the premium, the product never really has to change. Besides, you wouldn't know what's going to be delivered next month and the month after, because you don't have a crystal ball. So you have to sell hard the actual premium or bonus, and not necessarily the contents of the newsletter. So that's very much a standard and true way of selling front ends, but it's not a way that many people have experience in selling a back end. I learned this strategy from former clients of Jay, Chris Evans and Taylor Welsh of Traffic and Funnels. And so Traffic and Funnels gets 1,500 to 3,500 leads a month from this process, from what I'm going to share with you here. This is also how Chris and Taylor first got their start, how they made their first sales themselves in their business. This is what they teach their coaching clients to do first in their programs, right? And the reason why is that nothing else is needed to get started. Like if you wanted to have a high-end coaching program, you don't need a website, you don't need an email list. All you need is what they teach their clients to do here. And it's really about kind of shifting things. So it's starting at the most expensive sale, not the cheapest sale. So for people who have studied direct response for a very long time, generally the process that most people follow is something called ascension. You take people in at a lower price, and some people will kind of ascend all the way up to the higher price points. A lot of us about 10, 12 years ago, because we didn't have the copywriting chops, we went the other way. We went descension, where I would like advertise my webinar. My webinar would sell my coaching program, and that would make advertising very, very profitable. And then all the sales that came behind it of the lower price programs to the buyers that did not buy the high price product was all profit too. So it was a descension model. And nowadays, if I'm talking to a beginner, yeah.
Also, in value creation, we used to do it a lot too. Value creation is much different when you do descent, because you're starting with a $25,000 value. So when you get down to 1,000, it sounds cheap.
Yeah, kind of like the Mr. X book and the other book, right? So promotion at Agora that did really well was coming out with the Mr. X book and then following that up with a $97 book because the Mr. X book was $497 prior, right?
That's right. Yes.
So yeah, so back to this. This is like a model that they use to grow, that they teach, et cetera, right? So it's a very effective model, and it's called the two-step for high ticket sales. Now, this is something that is not brand new to the market. They've been doing this for a few years, but still it's new to quite a few people. It's a long text Facebook post that's kind of motivating, and it's generally centered around a problem, which I'll get to in a second. But this Facebook post could be anywhere, right? It could go on in your group if you have a Facebook group. But if you don't have a Facebook group, it could go on your fan page. If you don't have a fan page, it could go on your profile. So there's always a place to put it, right? And it's offering some kind of premium, some kind of bonus centered around your prospect's pain point or problem. So the way Chris and Taylor would do it is, let's say like people are overwhelmed and overloaded, then they had decided to have a meeting with their team. Chris went over all the different strategies that he's learned over the years to make sure that he's not overwhelmed and overloaded. His employees went through it. They're now back at the top of their game. And if you would like to get a copy of this video to watch for yourself that made such a difference for my team, then all you have to do is say, give me clarity below. Right. And so it's offering that premium for free if they say they want it. Right. So they comment to get the premium. That starts a messenger bot. Right. The messenger bot, they wait until enough comments pile up. So they're not like immediately going to people. Right. They wait until a few hundred pile up. And then the process is qualify. Well, it's really micro commitment, qualify, gift, appointment. And so here's the process, right? So the messenger chat starts and it says, "Hi, blank, it's Rich. I'm just making sure you still want this, whatever," right? Because you want to get them to recommit to wanting it. And the reason why is that you've delayed them from actually getting it right when they just raise their hand, right? And so people will most likely say yes. When they say yes, then the two questions that to make sure these are the two questions that allow you to segment people. what is your current, for them, what is your current revenue and what are you currently struggling with in your business? Now, by knowing their revenue, they know where they're at in their business. To know where they're struggling with, knows where they can immediately inject some value. So generally, if they can make a connection to anything that the person's struggling with, then the messenger chat will say, we also have a training on blank. Would you like me to throw that in for you as well? Right? In addition to that premium that they said they wanted. And what I'll do is I'll set you up with an advisor. These advisors usually bill at like $1,200 an hour. I can buy that consult for you as well. When do you think you'll have gone through the thing you requested plus the thing I'm giving you? And then they schedule a follow-up session then. And so then the sales process really gets going. Right. So that's how they, for a long time, they actually sold the majority of what they sold in their business. There's a new strategy now. I'm ending the presentation with that. And that new strategy now accounts for 80% of their sales, but I'll show you that at the end. Another cool tactic that Chris and Taylor use to get people on the phone to then sell their back-end programs is they will follow up with every buyer wherever the buyer drops out of the upsell path after purchase, like in the upsell funnel. And wherever you drop off, they'll offer to give you what you didn't get, which most people will drop off not because they didn't want it later on in the funnel. They'll drop off because the price is accelerating too much. They'll offer that for free to the buyer if they'll get on a call with them. And it's the same process. It's starting to like create a relationship with the buyer, and getting people on the phone tends to be one of the most difficult things. So by just leveraging the fact that very few people buy every single thing in your upsell offer, you now have a way of getting them back into a process that gets them on the phone. All right. So the question that you got to ask yourself is like, how much bigger would your business be if you had a high ticket process like that grew traffic and funnels to over $20 million? And not only should you be thinking about that, but like how many things have you done other than that really was like a wasted opportunity? Like the opportunity cost of all the things that you did to sell your higher end ticket products that did not do as well as this, that was not as easy as this, right? That, required a lot more than this. So there's the cost of not knowing this and what it's cost you as far as just profit. But then there's the impact on your business, all the things that you had to do instead that probably didn't work as well. And you got to kind of think about what that actually adds up to. So the next is, can you double the click-throughs on an ad by just adding 2 words, just 2, right? And the answer is yes. And this comes from Jordan Menard. And Jordan, I think, is now working with Jay as well. But Jordan is one of the top media buyers for info products. So he works with me, he works with Bob Proctor. He helped Jordan Belfort get going and Dan Locke get going. He works with Adrian and Anthony Morrison and has for a long time. He helped Ty Lopez get going. He works with Agora Publishing. And what he discovered, and when I did a Steal Our Winners segment with him, he showed me Bob Proctor's account, Agora's account, and it might have been ours as well, or it might have been the Morrisons. I don't remember. And he showed split tests of these long posts in Facebook, and they were identical, except one started with these 2 magic words on all 3 of these accounts, and the other did not. And it was it's true, ... That's it. Just it's true at the beginning of the ad. And just it's true, right? If you're thinking about someone scrolling down, the news feed, it's true. Like, well, what's true? And it's just something that gets someone to kind of lean in, right? And just spend another moment with that ad. And believe it or not, that increases the click-through rate, right? So once again, like, how many ads did you turn off because you weren't using this? How many funnels could you not get traffic to because they weren't at a low enough price because you weren't getting enough click-throughs? What did it cost you to not know this, right? The next, using the Post-it method and $300 to find your next top performing ad. And this comes from Charles Kirkland, another person I just put in touch with Jay actually to run some media buying for him. And Charles is a master marketer and a phenomenal media buyer. And use the post-it method with Facebook ads to test multiple angles that are inspired by your audience pain points. So we've got a couple people saying the same thing as far as audience pain points. Here you're using them to figure out which strategies actually drive more than others, right? So the fast and affordable strategy that refines your winning message before you invest the time, energy, money, and optimize landing pages and advertisements, right? So here's the process. Phase 1 planning, you list your market's pain points from Amazon reviews. You go to Amazon, you look at the top selling books, and you look at the 1-star ratings and the 5-star ratings, and you're looking for any place where you can kind of contextualize a problem or pain, right? You write down the larger problem behind each pain point, and you sort the problems from what you believe would be highest to lowest frequency, right? You develop 20 of them. You put each of the angles, right, on a post-it note or the equivalent digitally, which would mean you'd go to like Canva, create a post-it note, just, a box that's yellow, put some text on it, right? And you would run those as Facebook ads, a $15 budget to completely cold audiences, news feed only, and look at which ones get the highest click-through rate, right? And so this is a text exchange between me and Seth Green. Seth Green puts on podcasts for a bunch of different well-known podcasters like Kevin from Shark Tank and a bunch of others. I forget Kevin's last name, Harrington. So see, my memory really is crappy. And so he told me that he told me that he was going to be doing it. And so then he sent me this, right, which was showing me that he was actually doing the work, like putting them on Post-its, and he was going to run the ads, right? I told him that was great. It was amazing. Keep me informed. Then this is what he sent me 2 days later or 3 days later. He wrote back, it upped our click-through rates 300%, right? Which means ad costs go down 2/3. It took us in a totally different direction. The winners were not what I bet on at all. And that has been consistent with every single person who's used this. They've told me that what worked was not what they would have ever bet on would have worked. Then see, this was March 25th. Then on April 2nd, did it again, upped our click-through rate to 9% here. And as you can see on the right-hand side there, 9.74%, which is pretty insane for an ad, right? And what makes a man sexy? Don't know what the answer is to that. So once again, it's like not knowing this, not only are you losing money, but think about like the funnels that have had to be turned off, right? Webinars that could not be conducted. Because like you can't get traffic at a cheap enough price because you haven't known about this simple testing strategy that will alert you to the best messaging that will resonate with your audience that you can get clicks for 1/3 the price, right? So that's what not knowing that strategy will take, right? So can you create, this is always this, I don't see this as black hat or gray hat at all. My team, certain members think this is a little bit too gray hat. They want me to take it out, but I like it, so I'm not taking it out. And you guys can be the judge. So this one is, can you create target audiences of your competitors' customers and customers of complementary products for dirt cheap? And the answer is yes, you can. And I want to show you how. But before I do, let me tell you that it came from Gohar Chaudhry and also Tim Bird. Both of them kind of touched upon this tactic with me. And they're both, veterans of the game, been around forever, right? So this strategy, what you're doing is you're leveraging adware. Now, adware is not spyware. Spyware is illegal. Adware is not illegal. If you use the app Honey, you are using adware. Most computers have adware. At least 50% of desktops have adware. And when a desktop has adware, like a tool like Honey or any other comparative shopping tool, or a lot of the extensions that you might have on a browser, you now have adware on your computer. When you have adware on your computer, you can access those computers that have adware through certain networks. And through those certain networks, you can create a pop-up that will pop up, or a pop under that will pop underneath the browser, based on whatever activity is actually happening on the computer, right? So that allows you to target a keyword on any search engine, right? It allows you to target visitors of any website. It allows you to target any part of any URL or any specific URL, right? And basically it costs anywhere from about 1.5 cents to 3 cents per pop under or pop up, right? And whether you just run an ad or run opt-in traffic, try and get people to opt in, that's up to you. But the thing that you should definitely have are a Google pixel, a Facebook pixel, and an AdRoll pixel on that page that pops. Because if you're targeting your competitors like checkout cart, right, you can then have the pop under pop anytime someone gets to that checkout cart. And now it's just dropped a Facebook pixel, a Google pixel, and an AdRoll pixel on that person, right? So I'm going to show you how to do it. But these are the 3 networks that will offer it: Propel Media, Advertise.com, and RTXplatform.com. These are the 3 networks that will allow you to buy adware traffic on pop unders, right? And then this is how you target. So this is ClickFunnels, right? So I have this product, Steal Our Winners, that teaches marketers the strategies and tactics that are currently crushing it, that the world does not know about yet. And so it's very applicable to marketers. So, okay, so this is what I see when I log into ClickFunnels, right? When I want to check my stats and look at how my funnels are producing, I'm going to rich-only-app.clickfunnels.com/funnels. So if I want to tell any of those advertising platforms to pop, right, I can tell it, well, just pop anytime this clickfunnels.com/funnels appears in the string, right, in the URL. Now, I don't care what is in the subdomain because everyone has a different subdomain. But if you're going to ClickFunnels/funnels, it means that you're checking the performance of your funnels, which means that you're the exact person that I would like to target in my ads, because it means you have funnels and you're checking how well they're doing. Right? If I wanted to do it with Infusionsoft, when I go to Infusionsoft, right, I go to signin.infusionsoft.com/login. So for Infusionsoft users, I would be targeting signin.infusionsoft.com/login. That would get me all the Infusion users, right? Not all the Infusion users, but people who have adware on their computer that go to Infusionsoft on any of their browsers. Doesn't matter if it's Brave or Internet Explorer or Firefox or Chrome or Safari. All that matters is that adware is on that computer. Okay. So once again, like, think about how valuable that list would be, right? Remember, if you don't, well, it's ridiculously cheaper to retarget someone than it is to just advertise. And so you've created this list of your best, like, you could pick any page. You could pick like the most expensive upsell. You're not going to get a lot of traffic to that page per se, but you could take the top customers of, everyone in the market, or anything else that your creativity opens up for you by thinking about this strategy. And I think it's a phenomenal strategy. I know a lot of people that use it and use it very profitably. It does leverage adware, but like I said, 50% or more of computers have adware on them.
And Rich, I'm going to be just 2 minutes because I have to. Desiree, my assistant, is leaving, and I have to just give her a directive. So continue, please.
All right. So this one I really like. I'm really proud of. It's can you make money getting a lead without selling anything? And you can, and we do this. I learned this from Jeremy Blossom. that very handsome fellow, someone who I refuse to stand next to in pictures because he's just too damn good looking and I look like crap next to him. And this is what our page looks like. Okay. So when you go to this page, right, in the past, there would be an opt-in box there instead of sign up now for free. Instead, you see a button, sign up now for free. When someone clicks on that button and they go to what we call, or what Jeremy calls, a lead cart page. So instead of a shopping cart, this is a lead cart. And as you can see, the first thing that someone selected, they've already selected it, it's in their cart, their lead cart, right, are the 10 free episodes of the Coalition to Save Internet Business, right, which is a docuseries based on that live stream that I did last year. Now, as you can see where it says on the right-hand side, where it says send resources to my inbox, there's a number 1 in the cart because right now there is one thing selected, right? But if the person on the page decided that that free $100 million swipe file, right, that free resource, the first one listed, was appealing to them, right, they could click add to cart. That's from Todd Brown. And when they do, it would move to the top. Now, in addition to moving to the top, because they're going to get that now too, something else is different, right? And what's different is now there are 2 in the shopping cart or the lead cart. And you can see that this person is now giving permission to me and also to Todd to email them. And if someone were to pick all 4 of the free resources, it says investing resources, it's really business resources. I pulled this page together rather quickly, but as you can see, it says send resources to my inbox. And now you see Strategic Profits, Traffic and Funnels, Groove Funnels, and Todd Brown, because it's now this person is giving all of us the ability to email. Now, I want you to understand what is currently happening versus this, right? So what's currently happening in your niche is you and all your competitors are happily giving money to YouTube, to Facebook, to Google, to Twitter, to Instagram, to attract the same prospects. So everybody's paying Google for the same person and multiple times, right? And so it occurred to me and to Jeremy, like, why do that? Like, why don't I go to Traffic and Funnels? Why don't I go to Groove? Why don't I go to Ryan Levesque? Why don't I go to Todd Brown and say, like, hey, look, I will buy any leads that come in off of any of your pages for $3 a lead, which is less than what I can generate on my own. And I will sell you my leads at $3 a lead if they check off what you want. And so that's what we've done. And so instead of now all of us paying for the same lead, now I'm using this and I get back 1.5 times generally what we have. Well, 50%. So if we have 3 listed, generally people will take 1.5. If we have 5 listed, people will take 2.5. And at $3 a lead, 1.5 is $450. If we have 5 things offered there, it would be $750. So you kind of can do the math there, but that is a way to acquire leads, something to sell them. We sell them, steal our winners behind this. And the lead, we are actually profitable before they hit that page. So how many leads would you want? How much bigger would your list be if you knew this? And think about all the opportunities where maybe having a bigger list would have done something for you that you didn't have that list because you didn't know that you could actually kind of create this group within your market where instead of each of you paying Google, each of you paying Facebook, each of you paying Instagram for the same lead, you pool your resources and share the lead, share the costs, right? This is pretty cool. This is a distinction that I learned from Walter Birch. And Walter, not a guru, not known by very many people, but an insider. So he's known by a lot of gurus and stuff, very big in the credit space. And he had a distinction that he wanted to teach me about YouTube ads that's very powerful, right? And it's a difference between tease and taste. So what Walter discovered was, and here's like him doing a breakdown of some of the background, right? That there'd be a big difference. I'm actually going to put it back here for a second. There's a big difference. Like if you think about YouTube advertising, right? you click on a thumbnail because you want to watch a video, and now this ad pops up. So this is a complete interruption of what you want. And most ads today start by teasing the viewer. Like, in this video, I'm going to share with you the top 3 strategies to increase the conversion rate on any web page, right? So it's a promise, right? Versus taste, right? What Walter realized was that right now, no matter how sexy the message might be, this was not what you were looking for. And because you weren't looking for it, just because it might be related to something that is valuable to you, you might not be in the mood to watch it. So what gets someone in the mood to eat ice cream or to eat a cake or for me to eat Oreos? Give me one Oreo, and then now I'm in the mood. I'm in the mood to eat a lot more Oreos. That's why I generally have no Oreos in my house, right? Give someone a taste, and they're much more likely to lean in. So instead of starting with a tease like in the video, like in this video, I'm going to show you this, just actually start by giving people something right up front. Right. And then go into the tease. So just like in a movie, you start in the middle of the action, or just like you've probably seen in your favorite podcast where they take the most exciting thing and they move it all the way to the front so that you hear it. And then you got to wait until you actually come across it in the podcast. Same thought. Right. And so when Walter came across this by analyzing like these different videos, right. And in this one particular case, right, you can see that this version had 10 million views, the one in yellow, versus the ones in red, 130K, 165K, 64K, 91K, right? So there's one simple kissing technique any woman can use to make a man beg to be her boyfriend, right? And then it's getting into it. It's very simple. First, you look him right in the eye, right? All the other ones are much more of a tease. And so if we had more time, I'd go through all these scripts, but I can boil it down. And because Walter took these notes and he shared these notes with me. And so at the very top of the notes that he shared with me, there's something that's in here that is like the crux of it, right? You're doing a pattern interrupt, right? You're starting in the middle of action. There is a visual tease, curiosity and desire, right? You're giving people that taste. You're starting in the middle of the action. And here's the goal. And I think for me, this is what clicked it in for me. If successful, the viewer has involuntarily broken their focus and they're slightly interested, and they're like, if you get them to even consider this is the win. Will it be bad for me if I skip this? Right? Remember, they weren't looking for it. They were clicking on their video of Joe Rogan talking to David Sinclair, and now you pop up and you're not going to sell them right there in the first element, right? Can you get them to even be concerned that if they were to skip it, they might miss something? And the way you do that is a taste into a tease, as opposed to a tease that ultimately gets into a taste, because people won't give you the amount of time that you would need to just because you made a promise. Those days are gone, right? So are you starting every video ad in a way that is currently reducing response? And if you're doing it by tease, you are, and you're suppressing your results. Right. So this one is something that was actually based on a conversation that Jay and I used to have all the time. Jay wanted to see what would happen if he sent an email to his list saying, how much do you trust me? And we went and talked about it back and forth a bunch of times. I think eventually Joe Polish did something where he had a backpack, like, how much do you trust me? And will you pay me $15,000 for what's in this backpack? And he would just send it to a few people, I think. This was different. We put this in a campaign and we used a different version of it. I'm going to show you the video. This upsell got a 78% take rate. And I want to explain why after you watch it. It's pretty quick. Hopefully we sped this up too. Hi, Rich Sheffrin here. And I have this that I want to tell you about. But before I tell you about this box with a question mark on it, you can see that there's a flurry of activity behind me, and I'm going to tell you why there's a flurry of activity behind me and why this box has a question mark. But before I do, I want to talk to you about trust. Who do you really trust in the market? If you trusted, they've disappointed you. If you trusted, they've disappointed you. In fact, trust is being decimated each and every day online as people take advantage of entrepreneurs worldwide. So what I wanted to do is a test. I wanted to see how much you trust me, and I also wanted to condition the habit, you could say, of trusting me going forward. Inside this box, I have something that is easily worth 30 times, if not many more times, what I want to charge you. So I want to charge you $30 for what's in this box. My promise to you is that it's worth at least $1,000. And when you get it, you will not be disappointed. My goal is to reward your trust. My goal is so that when you get this box, you think that trusting me was one of the smartest decisions you ever made. And those that don't take this offer regret that choice from this day forward. That's my goal. That's my intention. I'm telling you right up front. And on top of that, I want to remove all risk. So you get this for 1/30 of what I would charge. And in addition to that, if you don't feel it's worth the price, if you don't feel it's 30 times worth the price, then all you need to do is let customer service know, keep the box, keep the material that's in the box, and we'll still give you a refund. But I'm not worried about that, because the truth is that I know that you're going to love what's inside this box. I know you're going to be ecstatic about what's inside this box, and I'm not going to announce it until the actual live stream. So on February 19th, I'm going to open this box. I'm going to reveal what's inside it. And those of you who took me up on this, who trust me, I can promise you, you're going to be richly rewarded for it. So I will see you on the live stream. Hopefully you're one of the people that trusted. Until then, to higher profits and beyond, Rich Schefren over and out. There we go. So there's a lot of, so that started because Jay and I had that conversation for years. As I spent more time working inside of Agora, one of the things that was very clear to me is like the whole reason that Agora's style of copy is different, where it's really indirect and leads with a big idea. One of the reasons why, it might not be the only reason, but certainly one of the reasons, is that there's really like only, and I'm not an expert in like the financial markets, but there's like, let's say 30 ways to make money investing in stocks. Like there's just so many ways that you can invest in the market. Once you know those 30 ways, there's really nothing new. There's not a new way to invest tomorrow. And so in Agora, like one of the things that is very clear to the copywriters is that they are trying to avoid the reaction, I've seen that before, or I know what that is and I'm not interested. So when you use a metaphor or you're using any kind of like visual way of describing things, you're doing it in a way where it is not as overt so that people know exactly what it is. And because of that, they can keep readers' attention for a much longer period of time and make the sale. It's much harder to reject something if you don't know what it is. You can no longer say, this doesn't apply to me. How do you know? Right? How do you know you've bought it before? You don't know. You don't know anything, right? So in an offer like this, I've removed all reasons to say no, right? You can't say, I know it, I have it, right? So now the only thing is like putting it on trust. Now, this wasn't to a completely cold audience. If it was to a completely cold audience, it probably wouldn't have worked as well, right? But it wasn't just to my audience. Other people were mailing and we were targeting lots of gurus in the space. But like if they've already bought something, right, they trust me. And if now I'm saying, give me $30, this will be worth 30x what you're giving me. And if it's not, I'll give you your money back. They're really like, you know, it's direct response 101. It's just mystery box as opposed to, you know, a specific thing. So this sold it for $30. That means this added $22 of value to every person that went through the funnel, right? Because it was a $30 offer, 80%, 78%, whatever, right? It's like 20 some odd dollars per person that went through the funnel. Like that's what that one video added to their value. I don't know if you told them to do it, but I saw Dave Asprey had a $150 mystery box as like just a kind of offer on one of his sales pages recently.
Yeah, I'm unaware, but I probably talked about it. I have a funny question. Have you experimented with this as a front end offer, anyone?
No, we haven't. That would be interesting.
We talk about it because I have a concept for you. I'll give you it.
All right. This is what Jay and I do late night. We come up with crazy ideas that we then dare each other.
Well, you know, mine was a little different. Mine was send money. We'll explain later.
I've sent that message, never to my list, but to many other people. So now this one I'm really excited to share with you, because this is one of those things that is as clear to me as like the examples I shared with you at the very beginning. As far as something that's going to work incredibly well right now, has been working incredibly well for a bunch of insiders. Most people know nothing about this. And within a couple years from now, when everybody knows about it, it's not going to work anywhere near as well. In fact, right now, it's probably received by prospects and clients very positively. That will shift over time as well, right? And so the question is do you know that the best at telephone selling have changed their model? Right. So this comes from Cole Gordon. Cole is the guy that worked with traffic and funnels, learned stuff from Taylor, and has then went on and been behind the call, like the telephone selling for many gurus. And the reason why is that a lot of people don't want to outsource telephone selling anywhere. And the reason they don't want to is because they are then, if someone else is doing your telephone selling, they could destroy your reputation. So a lot of people want to have their own telephone sales that they can control. And Cole's the guy that they hire to set up the entire process, hire the salespeople, do the trainings, like get it all working. And so I spoke to Cole recently, and he told me that, I don't know what's coming up here. Okay, that outbound is the new inbound. And I wasn't exactly sure what he meant by that. So I asked him about it. And so the way that I showed you that two-step model that Chris and Taylor were using and still use, right? But their business was built on it. Is a two-step, right? You're running that ad. People say they want it. Then there's a follow-up call. That follow-up call is then setting an appointment with a closer, or they're closing right then and there. And that's their overall model in, a simplified way, right? Well, they're doing that call with the advisor. They're setting up a strategy session, and that strategy session, there's going to be some kind of audit of the business. There's going to be some offer made. There's going to be some eliciting of the pain currently in the current condition, et cetera, right? So that is a inbound process, right? People are calling in, right? So when Cole says that outbound is the new inbound, what he's saying is that there's a new way now that people are doing where they are not waiting for someone to call into their strategy session. They're actually calling out and making contact. Now, they're not doing it to like a white pages or, they're not just taking a phone book. What they're doing is that they're adding the telephone number on every opt-in page that they have, making it optional. And when someone opts in, as soon as they're engaged in your site, making a call out, right? And so adding an extra call to the sequence. So now there's an extra call just saying, we see you're on our site. What are you trying to accomplish? Where does it hurt? How can we help you? And really kind of taking a leadership role with the prospect. So it's like the embracing of, to use Jay's term, like a strategy of preeminence. Like, I just went on this website, and now this website is calling me to find out what my goal is and how they can help me. And they're sending me stuff that's very applicable to the exact thing I'm working on because they know me now. It's about taking that leadership role with the prospect, right? So here are two models. He shared 4 models with me, but here are 2 models. One is the low ticket product plus outbound, right? So you can see an ad is selling something for $7 to $97. They go to the sales page, the funnel with one-time offers, right? As they go through that process, right, there is a sales call within 5 to 10 minutes, right, of when they've opted in, right? And then they go to a thank you page. So you can see that right here, what they're doing is they're using a low ticket product to get someone into a funnel. And then while they're going through the funnel, they're actually reaching out on the call. You have to use like a HubSpot or, different type of marketing tech to be able to do this. But this is the process, right? Or the dual flow VSL, that's what he calls it, a VSL plus an appointment setter. This is the standard model that most people follow, just with that addition of the outbound call. So there's an ad to a VSL, right? They opt in, they give their email and phone number to watch the VSL. The VSL is trying to sell the person, the prospect, on a strategy call, but the prospect is getting the phone call while they're watching the video. Right. And so instead of having the person watch the entire video and then fill out an application, they're asking if the person has time. They can fill out the application for the person, talking to them, finding out where it hurts, giving them something value. And it's that first point of contact and setting something up later on to follow up. So kind of think of that messenger script I showed you earlier, and that just kind of being moved forward. Right. So you're positioning your setter, right, the person that generally is setting the calls, as a customer service conversation to customize their experience. Send them free resources to help them out. After they accept those resources, start asking them questions while they're still on the call, right? And then set a date for a future call on your closer's calendar. So that's kind of the process. It's adding an extra call to the sequence where you're sending them something for free that would help them right then and there, right? And answering questions, asking them some questions, and setting a date, right? So if I had more time, I would share a lot more of these types of strategies with you. I'd share with you Russell Brunson's best performing funnel, right? One that he's currently spending over $1 million a month on, that he credits for growing ClickFunnels more than anything else. Or Justin Goff's high converting upsell process, or Alaric Heck's framework for winning YouTube ads, or his framework for retargeting, which if you've ever seen an Alaric Heck video, you know that his retargeting is spot on. Or Scott Oldford's covert upsell process that turned a challenge into a multi-million-dollar windfall. Or Fernando Cruz, who's one of the best marketers at Agora. He has an email hack that gets a 48% open rate on a list of 975,000 and a 54% open rate on a list of 450,000, plus so many more, right? So these are the types of strategies, right? Like that email hack, or knowing that outbound is the new inbound, like knowing that and leveraging that is the difference between a business that's stagnant and a business that isn't. So let me explain what I meant earlier when I said, like, right now, people love it, they'll hate it later. So, you know, right now, if you went to a website and you were watching a video about this guru who could coach you to do whatever, and all of a sudden you get a phone call from that guru's team and they want to send you some stuff, and what are you trying to accomplish? And here's some great stuff to try out. Like, you're going to feel pretty good, right? You're going to assume that that guru is taking in, or that business is taking a role in helping you get to where you want to go. And in today's kind of environment, that will separate you from everyone else. In fact, when I've spoken to my friends that are using this, like Chris and Taylor at Traffic and Funnels, they tell me that 80% of their sales now come through this process, right? 80%. So it's huge. But let me ask you this: in 3 years from now, when everyone is doing outbound and no longer doing inbound, and every website you go to, you get a phone call, and every website offers you something for free, and you know what's coming later, then now your ability to make that positive impact is gone. Just like the ability to use a VSL and get a 300% bump on conversion rates is gone. These things come and go. Right. And so the question is like, how do you make sure that you're capturing those things? That's why I wanted to show you like what I do. Right. But then how can you be in a pipeline for this? And that's where we want to go to next. Right. So the questions that I have for you, and I'd love it if you would answer back in the chat, is just like, have you learned anything on this webinar that you didn't know before? Was this worth your time? Could you see, could you see, if you had strategies like this at the right time before everyone else, what a difference it would make in your business? I remember when just going to telephone selling made that difference. And Todd Brown had a webinar where he was selling his coaching program. He was selling it for like $1,200, and it was tough. And he moved to the phones, made the program a little bit better, but sold it for $5,000. His business 5x'd overnight. Those are the kinds of ideas and strategies that most people won't know. Like, most people will not know about outbound being the new inbound for another year or 2 years or 3 years when it's working at its best. And it's not just with that, it's across the board, right? There is no element of online marketing that where there isn't someone right now who's broken, you know, a new way of doing things. Now, I don't know all those ways. I do my best to find out all those ways, but there is no doubt that there is someone overperforming in every element of online marketing right now. And the fact that most people don't know it is one of the reasons why they struggle. So imagine if you got the best of the best to share their winners with you, because that's what Steal Our Winners is all about, right? So I just want to walk you through real quick who are some of the contributors of Steal Our Winners. We have over 100 of them. So it's Mike Filsaine, Neil Patel, Jeff Walker, Todd Brown, Adrian Morrison, Anthony Morrison. It's Chris Evans, Taylor Welsh, Ryan Levesque. It's Caleb O'Dowd, Molly Mahoney, Mike Dillard. It's John Lee Dumas of Entrepreneurs on Fire, Felicia Pagesh, and Eric Siu. There's Onyx Singal, Katrina Ruth, and Jordan Menard. There's James Von Elswick, Alex Jeffries, and Nick Shackelford. Nick, so Nick, for example, Nick created, did all the advertising and created the fidget spinner, right? When we first launched Steal Our Winners back in February of 2020, and I asked him, what is your favorite marketing strategy? What's a marketing strategy that crushes it for you that most people don't know? He said, leveraging influencers. Hiring influencers, taking over their ad accounts, and running ads for them to get them more fans that at the same time as selling my product. And he walked me through step by step by step how to do that, because I've never hired an influencer to go out into social media and sell my product. And those are the kinds of strategies that odds are you would never come across, right? There's Dennis Yu, Matt Wolf, Jeremy Blossom. There's Todd Herman, Kim Walsh-Phillips, Maxwell Finn, Charles Kirkland, Rob Kosberg, Joe Fear, Don Crowther, Perry Marshall, Scott Oldford, and literally another 60, right? We're talking about the best of the best of those that operate online. So that means you would never have a marketing challenge as it relates to the tactics of online marketing, right? If your funnel is underperforming, you can get the top experts and what they're currently doing right now in their funnels to make them not underperform, perform better than what yours are. Or if your offer's not strong enough, how about the people that have created the best offers online telling you what they do to create the best offers that they do, how exactly to do that, and the steps to go about doing it. So one of my favorite for offers, for example, is this guy, Caleb O'Dowd. Caleb was one of the last mentees of Gary Halpert. And he talks about everything that he learned from Gary Halpert about getting into the head of a prospect. Like, what did Gary do exactly? What did he learn from him? And Caleb has had some of the best offers out there. I mean, I did a mailing for a webinar for Caleb, and the webinar averaged $175 in sales for every registrant. So, which meant that my commission, my affiliate fee, I made $87 and change for every single person who registered for a webinar that I was getting 50% of the sales on. So just that's a killer offer, right? Can't sell enough high ticket or enough of them. Then there are people obviously in strategies like this outbound that, if you don't know, make all the difference. Can't afford to advertise, your cost per acquisition is higher than your average order value. Well, upsells will increase the average order value, right? And we've got quite a few different upsell processes that have all been proven to work. And we have a ridiculous number of ways to reduce the cost per acquisition by driving down the cost of media significantly, right? Need more traffic? There are crazy avenues that most people will not know until it's too late, like push traffic, for example. Push traffic right now, you can get ridiculously cheap. There's no terms of service. You just have to know how to crack that nut. There are also strategies like peel and stick. For those of you who've been around a long time, Perry Marshall kind of made that popular, that kind of phrase, but you can use that peel and stick strategy on YouTube right now. When YouTube is optimizing and using YouTube algorithm, you can still go in there every week and pull out the underperformers. And there's a way to do that that can dramatically reduce your YouTube advertising costs. And once again, I'm not the guy that's coming up with these ideas. I'm the guy that knows all the people that's calling 100+ people a month, asking them what's working now. What do you know that the world doesn't know that's working well, that is crushing it, right? Not seen as an authority or expert. There are strategies around that. You're struggling with email deliverability or conversion on email. There are strategies around that. So imagine getting all of the future marketing breakthroughs that happen before everyone else gets them, right? Before they diminish, before they lose their power. And at the very beginning, where the results far exceed the effort, right? All I had to do was show up on a live stream, not for 24 hours, just from a seminar, and 10,000 people went, right? All that Agora had to do in the beginning to get a 300% increase in a VSL was take the sales letter and just put it in PowerPoint and play it. Like, there was no fancy production, there was nothing. And that's when results were the highest. Nowadays, VSLs are full productions. Why are they? Because the effort it takes to make them work is a lot more, and the results that they deliver are a lot less. But until something better comes along, that's what people do, right? So I wanted to invite you to Steal Our Winners, which is where all these ideas came from, where all these experts are contributors for. And so I want to tell you about what the offer is that Jay was gracious enough to allow me to make to you guys. And so here's what you get. And it's really an insane bargain, if I say so myself, because I am very bad at pitching. So in order for me to feel good about pitching, I have to have my team make the offer so good that I feel good and excited to share it. So that I really feel like it's an IQ test and not an offer. And so here's what my team came up with, and it makes me feel pretty good because I think you'd be kind of insane. So a new issue of Steal Our Winners every month for life. So every month we deliver between 8 and 12 strategies that are currently crushing it that the world doesn't know about. We call over 100 contributors every month to get those, but each month we deliver anywhere from 8 to more than 8. And what you get is a video interview. You get a step-by-step action guide. We take what was shared with us, the strategy or tactic that is currently working, and we turn that into a step-by-step action guide. We also give you the audio recording so you can listen to it. And we also give you a transcript of the whole thing. So the idea is that not every tactic is going to apply to you, nor should it. You shouldn't be looking to try and apply all these. You should be looking for one a month that's really going to drive your business forward. And you pick them by looking at the action guides. The action guides tell you what it will deliver and the steps to take. And then if that is interesting to you, then you can read the transcript or watch the video. But I wouldn't suggest doing that for all the strategies, because not all of the strategies necessarily would apply to you, nor do you need to put 8 new strategies into your business every month. That's a little bit insane when one strategy can grow your business multiple times. So that's the first thing, right? And the value of that right now is $1,188. It will actually be going up because we're raising our prices. You get the complete library of all of the back issues. Now, one thing I want to just point out is that is for life, right? For as long as this program goes on, you will get that each and every month. So far, we're in month 17 that we're doing this. And the plan is to do this for as long as we're in business. And we've been in business for 20 years. 2, the complete back library, right? So ever since we started 17 months ago, or 16 months ago, rather, there's 125 strategies that we've already put in the vault, right? The value of that is $1,500. There are 3 coaching calls that you get with me over the lifetime of Steal Our Winners. You get to use them as you want. I do them every week for my coaching program, but you get to decide which ones you want to jump in on. And that has a value of $9,000 because I still charge $3,000 an hour for my time. And I will answer your question because I never get off a coaching call until I've answered everyone's question. You get the 27 episodes of that docuseries that we recorded at Mark Ford Cigar Bar, plus the mastermind where we had everyone here at my house and we were all sharing what was currently working for us in that mastermind. That's a value of $9.99. You're going to get the 12-month marketing blueprint, which is everything that I did my first year in business at Strategic Profits, where we went from 0 to 7.4 million. So it's every email that I sent to both prospects, customers, and affiliates. It's also every blog post that I wrote. It's every sales letter that we used, every presentation I gave, every report I released, every sales letter that we had, and every upsell that we had. So basically, everything that we did that whole first year in business that brought in 7.4 million. And the value of that, we charged $350 for that. And then this is really something that no one else can offer you, but me. And this is the boot camp for Agora for their media buyers. So if you get hired by Agora to be a media buyer, and we hire people who don't know anything about media buying, and then we put them through this boot camp, it's a 12-day boot camp, and you get access to this absolutely free. We did open it up for sales at one point in time. We only sold like, I think 100, and then we closed it. And that is a $3,000 value, right? Then there you are, Jay. You remember this? This is the dream team. Back in 2008, we did a seminar because people, like, we had the recession of 2008. And so what were the best strategies to overcome that? And it was me, it was Jay, it was Gary Vaynerchuk, it was John Carlton, it was Jeff Walker, it was Frank Kern, it was Mike Filsaime, and all of us at this event at Disney, all teaching no pitch. And then right behind that, Jay and I did a special program, but that one was $1,400. Well, no, there's another program after this. This one is the League of Extraordinary Minds. This was a labor of love for Jay and I that just never really hit the way we wanted it to. Not because it wasn't great, just because we chose the wrong partners. That's a long story, but but we did these 8 panels, and each of these panels was around a specific topic. And then we'd had the best of the best around each of those topics all in this call. What we did was we did the call separately, and then we had them all edited down together. So really amazing information. But this has been like this. I had to like really unbury it from the vault, because this has not seen the light of day for a long time. But Tony Robbins is in it, Robert Cialdini, Dan Ariely, Kevin Hogan, Jay Conrad Levinson, Gary Vaynerchuk, Brian Tracy, Stephen Covey, and a whole lot more.
And Rich, right? It was pretty cool because we also, you and I dropped $1 million on it, which is probably a binge. But what was cool about this is we asked the same question of 5 to 8 people in a category. And so you get all these very interesting variants of answers. And each one knows we're asking other people, so they're going to try to one-up them. So it's very interesting. And a lot of it is very
it was very, very applicable to timing now, right? Like this was after the recession. Like people, like we positioned it that way, and there are a lot of people.
It's too cool for its own good, but it was a wonderful experience until it didn't work. But it was really, it was. I mean, the content was fabulous. It just that
content was fabulous. We had partnered with a bunch of people that were big in social media. Won't say who they are because what's coming next will not be anything nice. But they pulled out the night before launch. So this was really supposed to be all over social media for us. This was much more of a list build and for us, and to give really high quality stuff so that as people came into our universe, they'd be overwhelmed and impressed. And that universe became a lot smaller when all the partners that we were relying on to bring us to their universe surprised us at the last minute. But anyway, great content.
It is.
And then the last one is all the videos from the Maven marketing seminar that we did right after the live event. So it was me, Jay, and Gary Vaynerchuk. He did a few sessions as well. And so the three of us taught the very first Maven marketing program that we created. And
just as a laud to you, you actually almost discovered Gary because nobody knew who he was when you had him there.
Yeah, nobody knew who he was back then. I mean, some people did, like out in the world of social media, but nothing like he is now. Like I didn't have to pay him to speak. I'm sure that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah. And what happened to that sport coat? I like that sport coat of mine.
Well, where would it be?
I don't know. I don't remember ever having one. Is that red or orange? I got to remember.
It looks orange,
I know what moths. Unfortunately, it was nice. It was cashmere too. Moth. I remember that was a good sport coat. Where did it go?
Okay. That's why I always stick with the same thing. Anyway, we charge people $5,000 and $10,000 for that program. Anyway, they put it
We
of
did.
5,000 on it. And what else we got here? So here's the deal, right? You're getting lifetime of Steal Our Winners. That means each and every month you're getting at least 6 to 8, but definitely, I don't think we've had a month with 6. So it's 8 or more strategies each and every month that are currently crushing it that the world doesn't know about. And you get that for life. And that means you have me talking to 100 people a month trying to track down those strategies that are actually working that I'm going to share with you each and every month. Lifetime benefit number 2, you get the complete archives of all that we've done so far in the last 16 months, 125 of them. Lifetime benefit number 3, you have 3 like kind of get out of jail cards, although I can't get you out of jail, but I can get you out of a marketing problem. So you have 3 calls with me. You can jump on my Q&As with my clients, and you have 3 of those over the lifetime of your membership, which is what you're buying here. You get the entire docu-series. That's a $999 value. You get the 12-month marketing blueprint. That's my complete swipe file of everything I did that first year, $349 value. You're getting Agora's media buying bootcamp. That's a $3,000 value. You're getting the lifetime benefit number 7, the Dream Team Home Study Program. That's a $1,397. And you're getting the League of Extraordinary Minds, $197. And you're getting the Maven marketing blueprint, all the videos of the live course that we did for $5,000. So that's a total value of $22,711, which is the typical cost to join a high-end mastermind. I also want to tell you that these days I'm invited to pretty much every mastermind because people ask me if I will share a couple strategies from Steal Our Winners, which is what I've done like countless times over the last couple of months. I'll share a couple strategies because these are the types of strategies that people join $22,000, $25,000, $40,000 masterminds to hear about. And I'll show you some results, but the results that we're getting for clients are over the top, as well as what we're getting for ourselves with these strategies. And so we don't feel like that would be too much, but obviously if we're starting with that price, we're not going to charge you that price. Here is John O. He used one of the strategies and made an extra $16,800. Here is Mia. She actually posted this. Then a month later told me that it actually now was like 270,000 extra she made from just Scott Oldford's shift in how he did a back end. Aaron Fletcher made 230,000 directly from strategies implemented, and that was only on using episodes 1, 2, and 3, right? Here are just a bunch more, right? Amazing, best purchase ever. That's what we hear pretty much consistently, that it's the best investment that they've ever made, best product they've ever bought. And think about it, because we're delivering each month these top strategies. Here's what's missing, right? You're missing the 3-year time lag. But not only that, you don't have to go through a 40-hour course to get that one tactic. This is an hour or less where we're just talking about the tactic, how to do it, what results to expect. And that's it. Like there's no fluff, right? It's mind boggling to finally have tactics served with techniques. This is gold, etc. These people have experienced the explosive power of a marketing breakthrough when you discover it early, and now you have the chance to do the same thing, right? So you won't have to pay the extravagant cost or travel to go to a mastermind, right? You won't even have to pay what the typical online course costs these days, about $3,000. Instead, you can join Steal Our Winners. You can join it for life for just one payment of $999. Now, that price is not going to stay $999, and that's not. I'm not full of crap either. When we first launched this 16 months ago, right, it was $250 for lifetime. It's now $1,000 for lifetime. It is going to go to $2,000 a lifetime, and it will go to more and more as time goes on. So the price will double to at least $2,000, but I promise you that after it does that, it will go up again. I'm not so keen on selling it for $1,000 because I just feel like it's so much more valuable. But I told them, make it an over-the-top offer so that I can feel good about this, and that's what they did. Obviously, it comes with a money-back guarantee. If this is not everything that I just said it was, if you don't like it for any reason, we'll give you a refund. There's no risk, right? It's strategicprofits.com/J. And so here's what you get. Just here's the recap. And right, you're getting all the issues for life, the back library, the coaching calls, the docuseries of the Council to Save Internet Business. You're getting the blueprint, which is my swipe file of the first year, the Dream Team Home Study, the League of Extraordinary Minds, and the Maven, right? All at strategicprofits.com/J. And Jay, that is it as far as the slides.
Yeah, I have a couple of comments.
We can answer questions.
Can I make a couple of comments? And I respectfully, I have to get on a call at a certain point, so I might have to be rude. But everybody, I openly and more than enthusiastically, overly enthusiastically encourage Rich to do this. I do not, all cap, do not participate 1 penny in this. I'm not doing this as an affiliate. I'm not doing this to make half of the revenue or a quarter of the revenue or 10% or 1%. I know the kind of work Rich does. I know the value of gaining advantage, because that's what I've basically predicated my whole career on, is giving people marketing advantage, strategy advantage, positioning advantage, competitive advantage, preemptive advantage, influencer advantage. And I just think that what he does, the way he does it, if you are involved, which almost everybody has to be in some degree or bigger in online, digital, social media marketing, if you've got any strategic or economic element of your business that emanates from those areas, I can't imagine that you could invest a lesser amount and get a greater yield. And as I said, I did this because I've known Rich for a long time. I know the quality of his work. I know his research prowess. I know the kind of people he hangs with in the genres that are important to you. You don't even know are important yet. And I know that he's not static. He will not, get boring, nor will he get antiquated. He'll always find whatever is the cutting edge, disruptive, highest performing breakthroughs so that your business doesn't break down. And again, I did it for him because I want to be part of what he's doing so I can learn, because it's not my strong suit. And I think he's on top and pulsed more disruptive advantage than you're going to get anywhere else. And if you've got any kind of business, the ROI is probably incalculably high. So I don't participate, but I celebrate you if you grow and prosper. And maybe in some way, if you get big enough, you can afford me privately. But I don't have anything more than hopefulness for you in doing this. That's all.
I appreciate that, Jay. And I very much appreciate you letting me talk to your audience. And I look forward to the many conversations that I know we're going to have in the coming years, because we talk as often as we do. And I just was told everyone will get an email. Anyone that's on now will get an email tomorrow of a link where they'll be able to get this.
They don't know what this is. You haven't told them.
Okay, so let me tell you the story. Jay called me and said, I need to update one of my books to have some internet marketing information on it, because I haven't published a book in a while. And so none of them have that element on it, especially what's working right now. And so he said, can you help me? And I was like, yeah, I can help you. But what's your timeline? He's like, tomorrow. And I was like, tomorrow, that's going to be kind of hard. So I got off the phone with Jay, and then I thought about it, and I was like, well, we do have the world's best experts. We talk to them every month about tactics that are currently working. If we just took each piece of the online puzzle and kind of stack them together, then we could put that into a book. And then that would not only be a good overview of the online marketing puzzle, but also the best pieces for each piece. And so that's what we did. And so the contributors that we used in this were, let me tell you, it was Tim Bird, who owns AdLeaks, and he also owns the largest Facebook group of media buyers, about 250,000 of them. Fernando Cruz, who's the best marketer in all of Agora, in my opinion. Jordan Menard, the media buyer for all info publishers. Russell Brunson, many of you know, the founder of ClickFunnels. Alarie Keck, one of the best guys for retargeting and advertising on YouTube. Joe Schriefer, a gentleman who took a division of Agora from 30 million to 300 million, following these 3 Ps. And then Molly Mahoney, who is one of my go-to people when it relates to leveraging social media. Generally, it's her or Kim Walsh Phillips. And in this particular case, what Molly was sharing was very applicable and very useful in giving people not only an overview, but a very specific tactic that resonates. So it was a great way to help Jay and also at the same time give some of the contributors of Steal Our Winners some more exposure. And that is what is this book. So it's an addendum to the Getting Everything You Can Out of All That You've Got book, but it's the online component that sits with it. And you guys will all get it tomorrow.
Great.
And I guess that's it, Jay.
Well, I think also, Rich is, if you have any issue in the course of your business career while you are involved with his business, if it has anything to do with online, digital, social, anything, he's probably been asked more questions on a regular basis so he can answer them, and he's masterfully efficient. In other words, he doesn't give you a superficial. He knows how to answer questions that are the most actionable, clarified, and high yielding. So I just think he's somebody that you want to have a relationship with, particularly if either it's an enormous or the total part of your business, or it should be. And then I have to go, but Rich, I think you did great. And thank you for doing it. And everybody, I hope you got a lot out of it. It'll please me to see how many ways you prosper from associating with them. And let me know how it does, Rich, because everyone should probably consider it if they can afford it. Thank you.
Thanks, Jay.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Jay.
Thank you, Jay. And Rich, I know Jay's jumping off, but we do have a few questions if you still have time to answer some of them. So a question I see here was people were asking how long will this be available for? And they were hoping that they were interested in that. So I don't know if we have a direct answer on that, so that way they don't miss out.
I do not know the answer to that. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that, to be honest with you. Like, I'm not, there's a gentleman by the name of Matt Risby. He runs the day-to-day of my company. And so he's the one that is on the meetings that's dealing with this. All I knew was that I needed to show up and present. It's definitely not going away in the next 2 hours. Right. Oh, there's fast action bonuses though, and some of those will go away sooner than later. So once again, I haven't looked at that page, and my team basically made sure that I didn't have a shit fit, excuse the language, like I did last Wednesday when nothing was pre-done ahead of time for me. And so I've been more focused on that and not the actual offer. So I apologize.
Okay. No, perfect. So if you got, for everyone that's still on, we appreciate you for being on. So if you go to that link, you should see basically all the necessary information from what Rich and Jay just discussed today. Again, I believe that was, here, I'll pull it up right here. If the team can put the link in there, that way everyone can go to that link. I believe it's what I just pasted in there. But you'll be able to see the entire offer. Go ahead and click the link there. Fill out your first name, last name, email, phone number, billing info. Click the complete order button, and you should be able to get dialed in for lifetime access. But I'm seeing here a few more questions just before we jump off. If you guys have, by the way, I see hundreds of you that are still on. If you have a question, feel free to go ahead and raise your hand, and I could bring you on, and maybe we could answer that live. If you're still kind of on the fence. I see here in the Q&A, do you have a PayPal link for those who'd like to use PayPal credit? Super valuable, but a big chunk of change. So if you go to that,
Tell them, I guess, what's our customer support? Is it support at Strategic Profits? I'll find out what our customer.
Hey, Rich, I'll help you answer some of these questions. So sorry, guys, no PayPal. Unfortunately, we do not accept PayPal at this time. So that's a no-go on PayPal.
Can't they just email you and like customer support if that's the only way they know how to pay?
No, I got to use a credit card.
Well, there you go.
Okay, that answers that. Again, if you have a question, feel free to raise your hand and we may be able to bring you on. We won't go too much longer. So I see Cornell. She has her hand raised. So I'm going to allow her to speak. Give me 1 second, Cornell.
Oh, thank you, Larry. I see Larry's comment. It says, hey, guys, I bought this and it's absolutely brilliant. It has so many golden rocks of knowledge inside. What Rich shared today is just the surface of the glacier of info available to you. Just get it. You won't be disappointed. It really, like, if you think about it, the average course might have like 3 or 4 tactics. We're delivering that every month, and we're delivering stuff that's unknown, and you're getting it for a ridiculous amount. Like, it's less than 5. If we stay in business another 16 months, which our intention is to stay in business another 16 years, but I don't think there's any reason why we wouldn't be in business. You're paying like a couple bucks for every strategy. And, as time goes on, it just gets cheaper and cheaper. But this is our front door. Like, let me just give you guys a little bit more information here because I believe it would help you. So when I wrote all my reports, I felt like I had 8 side doors to my business because everyone came in through those free reports and they were really great. And I'm very proud of all those reports to this day. Right. However, like how each group needed to be addressed made my business incredibly complicated. When I was coaching, when I was doing a consult one day for Perry Marshall, like he had this AdWords course and it was like a straight shot right into his business. And that's all he had. And I was very envious of how much simpler his business could be. So as someone who teaches strategy and growth, I never really had anything on the front end that was immensely sexy until I created this product. This will be our front end product for as long as Strategic Profits is in business. And because it's so easy to deliver such compelling value, and there's no one else that can do this. There's no one else that can get this many experts consistently to deliver. And so you're getting an offer here where really, if you plan on making any money online going forward, like if you plan on being in business online, I don't know how you could let this slip by. Because basically, this is your insurance policy to always know what's currently working and never waste time on an ineffective strategy ever again. And that's either worth a ridiculous amount to you or you don't see the value. So anyway, I'll answer any more questions, but I just wanted to be clear, like that generally I sell things for a lot more than $1,000. And this is not just me, it's me and basically every person I know and me coaxing them to share their best strategies with you. Sorry, Carl.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That I think that answered definitely some questions. So I see here, hey, Matt, I don't have the ability to let Edward speak.
I see a couple of questions, Rich. So Momo was asking if Russell, so this is the Russell Brunson interview you did. He was asking if Russell's spending over $1 million a month on his best performing funnel, what kind of return does he get? If I recall, he said he gets like $66 in profit per sale, right?
I don't remember the exact number, but I know it's ROI positive.
Yeah.
So he's acquiring customers for ClickFunnels at the same time he's making money. So yeah, I know it's ROI positive, which at the end of the day, that's ultimately where you want to be for something like that, where you're out there acquiring customers for ClickFunnels. There's no reason to make more money up front if you're at least at break even or better. If all those people are going into a continuity program, you don't necessarily need to make the maximum up front. So it's cash flow positive, which is why he spends $1 million a month on it. It costs him nothing the following month. It basically cost $1 million one time. And now every time it delivers over $1 million worth of new customers each and every month.
Awesome. Faruja, which I think we've seen her quite a few times in our live streams, is asking if she can be an affiliate for this offer.
Well, that would be more up your alley, Matt, than it would be mine. So you can
Absolutely. Yeah, we'd love affiliates. And yeah, if you're interested in being an affiliate for Disciple Persia, you can just contact our CS team. We'll put you in touch with our marketing manager. So that's mail@strategicprofits.com. I'll drop it in the chat for you.
If Matt and I were both parents of a child, they would go to Matt when they needed real help, but when they needed permission for something, they would ask me, because I would be the one that would be like, yeah, sure, go ahead, do it. Matt would be the one that, I don't think so. So, yeah.
Rich, I see here another question from Suzanne. She says, is this for me? I have a beginner business and still haven't spent any money on ads, still trying to market organically at this point.
Here's the thing, like, it is for you if you see that yourself doing anything online that involves commerce, period. Whether it's the very first thing that you would dive into, it might be depending on what you're working on, or whether, you know, you still need to get your site up or do something like that. This will be there for you. What I can tell you is that for right now, you are getting in for less than what a year will cost eventually. And yeah, I can't say whether it meets you where you are right now, but what I can tell you is that there's stuff in there that will make your journey a lot easier, no matter where you are. And if you're planning on doing anything online where you're going to collect money at some point, then there is no deal that's better than this deal.
Hey, Rich, I got another really good question here for you. People were asking, saying, you know, what's the value in the back issues if these strategies age so quickly? So maybe you can just talk a little bit, like what is an old strategy like, and how quickly do these strategies age?
They age at different rates, right? So like in, I think the second month, if I remember correctly, the very first time I heard about a challenge was actually in an interview, like in a CLR winner segment, like, you know, about 16 months ago. In those 16 months, like there's been a proliferation, right, of challenges. And so nowadays, like running a challenge is still going to net you a better return than quite a few other things like a webinar or any of the older tactics. So if you don't know how to do a challenge, this, instead of buying $1,000 or $2,000 course, you can hear from Michelle Schaefer way before most people even knew, before there was a course on challenges. She was sharing with us. So like that is still effective, but is it going to rock your world? Well, you'll have to do a better job than you might have a year ago, right? So there are tactics like that. Then when we get into like the guts of media buying, those kind of tactics last a lot longer, right? So for example, like a strategy like we use at Agora, like this was one that Brendan Ham shared, where like we had a webinar, it was underperforming. In fact, it was losing money. And so we were set our Facebook up to optimize for the registration for the webinar, right? What we did was we had an upsell, like after they opted in for the webinar, there was a one-time offer for a book that was related to the author, like what the speaker was going to be doing on the webinar. When we changed the optimization for registrations, from registrations to purchasers of the one-time offer, because we found a correlation between people who bought the one-time offer who bought on the webinar, we took a losing campaign into a winning campaign. That's not a strategy that a lot of people know. So that will last for a significant amount of time, right? Like Alaric Heck's retargeting strategy, still the same. Alaric Heck's YouTube model, still the same. So I'd say that at least 50% are still as effective. I'd say 25% are still highly effective, but maybe not as effective as they once were. And the other 25%, I would say, are ones that work, but they're more at the middle. Like there's nothing in any of Steal Our Winners that I would say is outdated. Let's start there. I would also say that if it's outdated for us, that means it's at the center line where like most courses would deliver it. But there is 75% that is before that. And it's either, the effort to results are insane, or it's starting to degrade a little bit, but you still have plenty of time to make it rock. So that would be the best way that I would describe it. But it certainly is, the backlog is incredibly valuable. I will.
Yeah, and I see here from Roberto, Riches, there's no better deal. I too can assure you better than just invest those $999 ASAP. There's no better deal, basically. So Roberto, awesome. Appreciate you for sharing that. I see here another question, Rich. This one's interesting. He said, is this for businesses not about making money online? For example, I have a local restaurant selling food and drinks.
Yes, very much so. Like, this is not a money-making online thing. Like, we're not delivering you a course and like that teaches, we're not selling an opportunity here. We're selling business growth strategies and tactics that are certain to work, that have been vetted, that will work better than anything else out there. That's what it is. So yeah, if you have a restaurant, like if you're emailing your market, your clients, your customers, which you should, then our email deliverability thing will matter a lot to you. It'll make the difference, like just in a very short period of time in and of itself. If you're doing anything online to bring people to your restaurant, then this will be just as applicable for you as it would be for any of our online like retailers or info publishers or whatever, because these strategies, that's what they are. They are strategies that plug into businesses. And whether that's search, like whether that's media buying, whether that's, conversion rate of your website or the actions you want people to take, it's very much applicable. So yeah, so I believe that every offline business should have an online component, since most, and that's not just because I'm in the online world, I came from the offline world, but nowadays people go online to find information, and that's your chance to meet the buyer when they're out looking, set buying criteria, and for a restaurant to let them know that you exist and bring them over to your restaurant. And so I'm biased in the sense that, yeah, I believe that every offline business should have an online component. And yeah, there's no doubt that we can help a restaurant with what we're delivering significantly.
Yeah, and if I could add to that, Rich, Jay's really big. If you guys have been following Jay for a while, or maybe you've never heard of him, one of the big things he's big on is being open to learning what's working now in different industries and then applying that to your industry. So, for example, he interviewed a man, Paul Adamson from Oyster Yachts. This is an Oyster Yacht company, a 47-year-old Oyster Yacht company. And Paul, he's in the Oyster Yacht business, right? But I remember him sharing in an interview, he took the webinar model and applied it to his business versus, just selling traditionally in person or whatnot. And because he implemented, having webinars, he was able to sell over, what was the number? Basically 4 years worth of yacht business in bookings. And it was over 100, I'm butchering this, but it was over $100 million in bookings for yachts, basically for the next 4 years, because he applied this webinar model in terms of client acquisition. And so that's just one idea, right? Rich is saying, we're sharing more than 6 per month, right?
8,
so
I misspoke. Yeah.
Yeah, 6 to 8. Well, regardless, you're
more.
Oh, 8 and more. Sorry. And so just taking one idea, whether you have an online business, whether you have a yacht business, whether you have a restaurant, whether you have any form of business, this is taking the best of the best. Rich is literally interviewing the best of the best marketing masters. I mean, who are literally in the front lines of capitalism. And it's this idea vault, this masterful thinking vault that you're getting access to that you wouldn't be able to get access to because Rich is basically a source of the source of the source. And he has the ability, he's in the unique position to be able to do that. So it's crazy.
Hey, Rich, I got a few more questions here that I want to pull up for you. Sure. Jay wants to know, is the content enough without the need to invest in additional resources from other participants? So it sounds like he's asking, when he watches an interview in Steal Our Winners, is he going to need to like buy the contributor's product in order to get value from that?
No. I mean, look, I look at every one of these segments as my reputation is on the line. And Matt can attest for you that I am not the most technically proficient. I do not know how to send an email like through Infusionsoft, never learned. I don't run our ad network or our ad campaigns. I don't run anything, right? So when I'm asking the person on the other side of the screen to explain it to me so that I can do it, right? Like, and I'm not coming in with any experience because I don't do these things. I think about these things, but I don't know how to do any of these things. I'm a generalist, right? So yeah, like my goal, I do not, like, let's be clear, right? What this is not. This is not a interview of the month club where like some guru comes on, we have a nice conversation, and at the end they pitch their product, right? And you end up paying for that privilege. No one pitches on these, right? It's not allowed, right? So no one's allowed to pitch. And what's presented is a strategy or tactic. And my goal is that by the time we're done, you know exactly what to do. You know whether you should do this or you should go on to a different strategy that we're like delivering that month. And you know exactly how to get that outcome. And I failed you if you did not get that. So that's what my goal is there. This is not what, like, it might be behind that question, because there's a ton of programs out there where, you know, you get a interview every month. There's a pitch associated with that interview. This is not that. This is not that at all. This is a tactic or a strategy that's currently working. And my job is to get everything that you need into that interview so that then my team can take it and turn it into a strategy document to lay out exactly like what the outcome is, what are the steps, you know, and why you should do it if like it applies to you. And from there, you can make your decision. But it's not, if you've been tainted by like everything that is wrong with internet marketing, I can assure you this is not that, right? Just like every event that I ever did wasn't a pitch event because it would destroy the integrity of the presentations, right? I also would not like take our content and ruin it by injecting pitches into it when people are paying us for strategies and tactics that are currently crushing it. And so that's the only way that someone is a contributor. And, you know, one of the things that we do tell our contributors, though, is that as a contributor, right, we will promote for you. And we find that our subscribers have the best insight into the people that they like the most because they get to see everyone delivering their strategies. So you get the best of the best competing with each other, delivering their strategies. You'll decide who you like and who you don't. And if and when you ever need something, but it won't be anything that we cover in Steal Our Winners because there is no tease. It's all of the content itself.
Awesome. Great. I got another really good question for you here, Rich. So Terry is asking that the question is, if we are coaching in our industry, what is the restrictions or not with sharing strategies in our circle? So it sounds like they want to know if they're a coach, can they take these strategies and then teach them to their clients?
Yes, you can. You can teach them to your clients. We would prefer that you don't publish them, but you certainly can teach them to your clients. I mean, look, like when I invented the automated webinar, many of you might think, why the hell would I write a report teaching the world about automated webinars? Because the world was going to find out about it anyway. So I might as well get the credit for inventing it. Just like most of the people who contribute to Steal Our Winners, they know it's only a matter of time until like the world starts doing this. So they might as well get credit as the person that is actually advancing it, right? And so, yeah, I hope that answers the question. Does it?
Yeah, definitely.
One thing, though, I do want to say to Richard Turner, that's the point. Like, Richard Turner has, that sounds great about Michelle Schaefer, but Pedro Edo is the guy who has positioned himself as the challenge guy, and he's consulted with the who's who of DM space on launching their own challenges. Totally agree. But most people now have heard of challenges when most people had no idea what a challenge was, or who, like, since they had no idea what a challenge was, who's the guru of challenges, because there was no guru yet. That's when Michelle Schaefer was going over like the process. And if it wasn't that particular instance, there are plenty of other ones like that. So that's the point. Yeah, we're not going to go to the person who might be the big guru of the thing today, because we're not going to teach you what everyone's being taught today. We're teaching you what people will be taught next year, like 2 years later. Like, if we're like, understand that by the time something's in a course, it's past our time. Like, we've already moved on. So that's the difference. And it's
Rich,
not a course.
There's a question here from Cindy. She's saying, is the price annual?
It should be, but it's not. No, that's $999 for life right now, right? That means that you pay us once and this gets delivered until I die. And maybe even after I die, maybe Matt takes over. So, but as long as I'm alive, I will be doing this.
Great. So Cindy, the link's right there. And for anyone who still had that question, this is lifetime access, not annual subscription for $997 a month. So insane.
Hey, Rich, would you mind just sharing your screen again and putting that link up on the page?
Sure. I will say that at some point, but that'll be when lifetime is a lot more expensive. At some point, I could see us having like an annual fee, but it won't be for anyone who gets it, like, you know, and just a maintenance fee, but that will never apply to anyone who buys now. You know, it's like if you buy like the Agora lifetime thing, it's like 10 grand, and then you have to pay like $200 a year just to make sure that you still want it. And it's an easy $200 for them to make every year. And we would imagine would go to that at some point, but anyone who buys is grandfathered in where you will never pay more for what it is you're buying right now. So that means that you'll pay $999 and you have all the back catalog, you have all the bonuses, and you have me really working like a dog each and every month to find strategies that will grow your business for you. And I have a better Rolodex than pretty much anyone online. I have more experience than almost anyone online. And so when you combine my Rolodex with my experience, it means that I'm going to ask the right questions, I'm going to get the right people, and I'm going to get the right strategies for you, because my whole business depends on it. This is our front door to our business, which means that if we do a good job here, people want to lean in and do more business with us, right? If we do a bad job here, because we are moving, any customer that comes into our business comes in through here, like, this is our flagship product, right? And it's because of what it delivers to people. So hopefully that answers that. Any other questions, Matt or Carlos?
Yeah, Andy's asking, he's a monthly paying member at the moment and wants to know if he upgrades, what happens with his monthly. And so, Andy, when you upgrade, your monthly subscription will actually automatically be turned off. You'll jump to lifetime and you won't be paying any more annual renewal fees for that.
And Andy, if you are getting value out of it, which I'm sure you are, you will want to upgrade, because like when we raise the price for lifetime, we'll be raising the price for annual, and we'll be raising the price for monthly. So just know that you'll be locked in at whatever price you come in at. But if you buy lifetime now, then you'll never have to spend more for lifetime. You'll have it and you'll never spend another penny. So I would strongly recommend that if you're getting value from it. And it sounds like you are if you're here and you're watching this.
And congrats, Andy, for jumping in now. I see here that Mary, she says she just ordered it. Congratulations. That's an incredible decision. I missed a few comments here, but everyone who's taking advantage of it right now, Steal Your Winners lifetime access. I mean, it's an absolute no-brainer. And I mean, the price is only going to go up. Like Rich said, it used to be, I believe, $250, not including all these fast action bonuses. So, I mean, $997 right now for lifetime access. I mean, like you said, you know, Rich has been in business for how many years, Rich?
Well,
18,
yeah,
you said?
20. So
20 plus years. And, that's definitely not the goal to go out of business next year, right? God willing, but God forbid, but so great. If there's any last questions, I know we're kind of going longer here, but I still see hundreds of you on. So if you have any last questions, we're going to go probably for a few more minutes, and then we can probably wrap it up.
Cool.
Matt, are you seeing any more questions on your end?
Just a lot of people just saying how excited they are jumping in. Congrats, Gia. Really excited. Some people are asking, is there a payment plan? Unfortunately, y'all, right now we're not offering a payment plan. For what a value this lifetime offer it is at even just $9.99. I think that's like an incredible deal, especially for everything we're giving you tonight. So it is a very limited time offer, specifically since we're doing this thing with Jay. So if you're really on the fence, just take advantage of that 30-day money back guarantee. Go in, check out all the content, look through the issues, see what Steal Our Winners is all about, and really just take your time and decide. With our guarantee, that's what I would suggest for you.
Agreed.
Maya, looking forward to 10xing your investment. Absolutely. I mean, just from one idea, right? I mean, so congrats, Maya.
Good question. So Naveen's asking, Rich, how do you get your contributors to share their strategies with you? Like, what's in it for them?
Well, a couple things. One is that because I talk to everyone, right? And partly because of this product, I do that. I can make things happen for people really fast. So nowadays, I start every conversation with a new contributor, letting them know that as a contributor, now that they've been vetted, we stand behind them. So we will endorse them when they have a product. They just got to get us the product and we'll take a look at it, but we will endorse them to the market, right? Being in Steal Our Winners at this point is also something that is, when we started, no one knew it, but now increasingly it's like a badge of honor and more people want to be in it. The next reason is that, look, people are going to take people's secrets. That happens. So you might as well be on record as the person who actually is the person that got out there with it. In addition to that, because I talk to everyone, I tell contributors, look, tell me anything that I can do for you. Odds are is in the next 45 to 60 days, I'm going to be talking to someone who has the answer. And so tell me where your business needs work or help or an expert, and I will get the answer for you. And so I have a whiteboard on this side of my desk and I have a whiteboard on that side of my desk. And when I'm having conversations with people, they will tell me what they're looking for, what they need, what they're struggling with. And I, in my day-to-day, will often find them the answer, right? So when I was talking to the Morrison brothers, they told me that they've been able to scale everywhere but native. Our contributor for native is James Von Elswick. He's considered the best native guy, right? I call James. I say, hey, James, would you mind hopping on a call with the Morrisons, right? He ends up talking to the Morrisons. He gets business from it. He thanks me. The Morrisons use him. They get great results. They thank me, right? Both of them are contributors to Steal Our Winners, but they don't know each other, right? So by having this product, it's put me, even though I've coached a lot of these people, it's now put me in a place where I'm talking to everyone all the time. So there's a lot of benefits to them in that way. And the truth is that there are no secrets online. There are no secrets online. I used to have an AI company that would expose the visitors to any website, whether the person opted in or not. Why? Because there are no secrets online. And so with the knowledge that it's going to get out there anyway, might as well be the person that gets value from it. And, what better way to make an impression with the ridiculous number of marketers that we already serve and get your message out there. So that's why. And a lot of people owe me favors, but also when they do me a favor, I'm going to repay it.
Yeah, that's where you're always telling me about a connection you've made between your contributors and how they're getting linked up and working together.
And I would say also, last thing that let me tell you, if I just exposed a bunch of our contributors to you guys, right? In this presentation, I shared two of my ideas, but I shared mostly our contributors' ideas. When I go to a mastermind and I share a couple ideas, I'm sharing their ideas and I'm exposing them to those people that are at that mastermind. So across the board, it is, I don't know of any contributor that hasn't said to me when I've talked to them, like sometime in the future, hey, like I got a tremendous amount of positive feedback from that contribution. Just want to thank you. I had no idea. And so, yeah, it's relatively easy. And you got to remember when we launched, well, what's a longer story is I've coached everyone. And when I launched this at first, we did it within Agora. I bought it back from Agora. But so it was me and Agora doing it together. And like I coached everyone. Agora's the big beast in info publishing. And so it was just another reason for everyone to jump on. And once people jump on, things have a momentum to it. So I'd say for all those reasons, it's relatively easy. And we haven't had any blowback of people saying like, I'm not going to share that idea with you. That hasn't happened.
Cool. Drew says he's going to binge watch SOW tonight. Got a question here from Snehal asking, is there a support network or community and way to get help answers other than the Precious 3 calls with you, Rich?
There are, I don't even know everything that is in the works, so my answer won't be that good. So I'll share my answer, but then Matt, you can correct me. My answer would be that we have a great Facebook group where people are very active and they share, but I believe that we're going to something else, or is that still secret, Matt?
No, we still need to talk about that, but no, the Facebook group is yeah, our great community, very active, like you said. Also, our customer support usually gets back to all of our answers, all the tickets and help people need within 48 hours. So we are very responsive on email at mail@strategicprofits.com. I'll drop that in the chat one more time if anyone wants to give us send a message to us. I got any questions if you want to be an affiliate. I saw a lot of people asking about that. Rich, people were wondering too, like, can they be an affiliate if they're not an SOW customer? I'm not sure that's something we've talked about. What do you think?
It's, yeah, I mean, you can be, you certainly can be. I've never done that personally. I think one of the things that helps my reputation is that like I actually vet what I've endorsed, and anything that I haven't, I feel like I'm putting my reputation on the line, so it would be kind of scary. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we don't have a problem with it. You don't have to be a customer to sell it.
I don't know. I might say we want to make that exclusive. Like you got to be a customer to be an affiliate. Let's make that a benefit.
You can tell that Matt's been around less time. I'll take money through any channel like PayPal, and I'll let anyone promote me. Matt hasn't experienced the hard times that I have in my 50 years. So, but Matt makes the rule.
That's what we make it go. Hey, Neri wants to know, will we still get the bonuses when we sign up later? I'm not sure we can guarantee that. Like, I know we had to move around the schedule because we had to reschedule this event and all the mailing dates had to get moved around. So right now, everything's kind of up in there on the timeline for this. So I'd really just like take advantage of the 30-day money back guarantee if you're on the fence. And again, like we're really just doing this especially for Jay. I wanted to put together a great offer.
Yeah, and I love what John says right here. What's the biggest problem you're experiencing in your business? There are solutions for it inside Steal Our Winners in all likelihood. And would you say that's a fair statement, Rich?
Yeah, and and to the person that was planning on binge watching, all for that. But what I would say is go in with some idea of what you're looking for, right? Like, and if you're not, like, what part of your business needs the most help? Like, is it on the acquisition side? Is it on the traffic side? Like, know that, because at the very least, like, you should be binge watching on things that are very applicable to your current situation. I don't want to be the contributor to making someone less focused, more overwhelmed. My goal is for you to leave Steal Our Winners each time with one strategy that you're really excited about applying. So just be clear about what you're looking for. That would be my only kind of guidance, because it could be really kind of, if you don't know what you need, everything sounds like a good idea, and that's not where you want to be. And if you can't clarify that, then you'd want to do one of the calls with me sooner rather than later so that I can help you clarify what order you should be looking at stuff.
Hey, Rich, I got a great question here from Jay, who wants to know when the next issue of Steal Our Winners is coming out.
When do we release them, Matt?
The last day of every month. So that is actually next week. So Jay was a little concerned if he'd be in his 30-day refund policy. So yeah, you're going to get a brand new issue next week. We got an awesome lineup of guests. You want to tease a few folks who are going to be in the upcoming release next week?
Let's see. Is that Ian Stanley, right? Is that this month? I don't know, like, because I'm always, I think it's Ian Stanley, Maxwell Finn, Stefan Georgi, really one of the top copywriters out there. Mikhail Dia, who owns Funalytics and had a really effective strategy leveraging Facebook. I am, so far, I can't promise these because these are the ones that are like coming, like on my calendar right now. But Matt Stafford, who owns Build, Grow, Scale. They're one of the top leading e-commerce companies out there. They manage all of, they run the e-commerce for people like Mark Cuban's brands and a bunch of others. They have 70 full-time conversion rate optimization people on staff, and they give us strategies that they've proven every which way that work not only in e-commerce, but just in everything in online selling. So Matt Stafford, I'm supposed to be interviewing him later this week. Chris Haddad, who is also one of the top VSL copywriters out there, and he's created some really cool new tactics. And Molly Mahoney, who actually, I know what she's sharing, which is unusual because sometimes what happens is that someone will share something with me and say, what do you think? And I'll then give them feedback. Well, it needs something else. Like you need to tie it to this or tie it to that. And so the Molly Mahoney one specifically, I know what it's about. Really powerful strategy, leveraging something that right now YouTube is pushing. So you're kind of in partnership with YouTube to drive down your ad costs tremendously. And don't want to tell you what it is, or then I'd be revealing it. And that would kind of, not be the point. But that's who we have coming up this month. And then next month, we already have a few already in the works that I'm working on. So, every month, what I'm doing my level best to find strategies that I want to send to my closest friends and say, watch this. And so far, so good. We've been able to do that every month, and it hasn't been a problem. That question that was asked earlier on of me, like, why did people do it? I get that question. I also get the question, like, aren't you going to run out of tactics? That's what people were asking me at the very beginning, like at Agora. And I'm like, are you guys crazy? Do you know how much stuff changes online all the time? And do you know how many things are going on right there now that, like, most people will not have a clue that it ever even worked until after the fact, until it's gone. So yeah, it's not difficult to get people to share when they know they're going to get full credit. It's not difficult to find these because everyone is always trying to figure out like an edge. And we talk to enough people who have a history of getting that edge. And then there are certain contributors that we want to talk to several times a year because they're always on the edge. And then there are some contributors we might talk to once a year because, like, they've discovered something, it's working incredibly well, but they're not a font of like new stuff all the time. And so, we ask contributors all the time if they have something new, and when they do, that's when we schedule an interview. And no one is in the product until we vet them. So we basically are attaching ourselves to every one of our contributors, and we want to make sure that we do that in a way that we withstand our integrity.
That's fantastic. Paul is asking about the difference between the Groove version and Jay's version. So Paul, Jay doesn't have his own version of Steal Our Winners. This is just a special offer with the bonuses from the Maven program and the League of Extraordinary Minds and a few things like that we put together for the special offer we're making tonight. But if you're a Groove customer, if you use Groove funnels, we do have a Groove version of Steal Our Winners, which includes specific strategies that are working on Groove each and every month. And so if you want to sign up through tonight's offer, And then if you're a Groove customer, we can actually just contact our customer support and we'll switch you over to the Groove version if that's what you prefer.
Agree.
All right. In terms of questions, it seems like we're running out of questions here. We still got 200 people on the line though. Sounds like a lot of people are really excited about signing up and just throwing out all the success they've been having in the program in the chat.
Cool. Well, Carlos, do you have any questions?
Let me give it a quick glimpse. I say we go for 2 more minutes, and if anyone's been holding on to their question, now is the time to ask. And if not, we are going to jump off. But I will say this, just from the presentation, from what you shared, Rich, you know how you said you asked, Jay asked you what's working now. In essence, right? This is
what's working now.
Working now. And you're getting literally, because you record these, I mean, relatively close to when they get published out. And so this is literally like Rich and his team are doing all the heavy lifting, and you're literally getting on a silver platter what's working now to get that competitive edge. So that's the last thing I wanted to say, because I write lessons that I get each day on a daily planner. And that was the number one thing I got from today. What's working now? And
and you know, it's our contributors also are going through the content. Like, you know, this is not something where people contribute and then they never like log in. Like, they're actually, a lot of the contributors come back and tell me like, holy crap, the stuff in here is amazing. Right. And for those of you, like, I did do a special one. There was a bonus one month with Alex Jeffries, because Alex said to me, like, there's so many great tactics in here. If I didn't have like a very clear framework to operate from, like, I could see this pulling me in a lot of directions. And I was like, dude, if you feel that's the case, then let's do a Steal Our Winners about that framework that keeps you in check and makes you clear about what you're looking for and what you're not. And so we did. That's in Steal Our Winners. You'll find it there. And it's not a bad lesson to go through. And let me be clear why. You're going to be exposed to a ridiculous number of tactics that work. Like, that can be kind of overwhelming. We don't want it to be overwhelming. We want it to be very clear for you. We want you to have the easiest time taking what we're giving you and grow your business. And so in order to do that, having that discernment of knowing what it is you want, like, you know, when I used to do a lot more coaching, every once in a while I'd get on a coaching call and someone would tell me they bought these 5 products and now they're trying to figure out what to do with it. And I'm like, you bought the how-to before you knew the what? Like, why would you do the, like, you can't buy how-to until you know what it is you're doing. You don't buy how-to stuff and then figure out the what, right? Like, that makes no sense. So we have the absolute best of marketing tactics that you will ever come across. So know what it is you're looking for. And if you don't know what you're looking for, then do that Alex Jeffries Steal Our Winners episode on his framework and everything else, so that you use this as an advantage and that it doesn't become like other things, because it wasn't designed to be consumed. Like, let me just be clear, even though we're putting in 8+ interviews every month, like, the goal is not for you to consume all 8 interviews unless you just want to be extremely knowledgeable about marketing. The goal is to consume the one that you're actually planning on using and then putting it to use. My goal is to put things in front of you that you find so sexy, so compelling, it makes you want to go to your computer and do it, right? Your goal is to be clear about what you want your business, where you want your business to perform better, so that you pick those ones that are most appropriate for you. But my goal is to put really sexy stuff in there that you want to do. That's my goal, right? Because those are the things that work.
Hey, Rich, June is asking, is this for people who are about to start a business?
If that business is going to be online and you're planning on having some commerce element of that business online, in other words, either people are going to find you to give you money, or they're going to give you money online, or in some way, shape, or form, this is related to your business, then yes. Will this give you like the step-by-step basics of like how to set up a website? It will not. So let's just be clear on what it is. But when it comes time to getting people to that website, when it comes time to getting those people on your website to send you money, like you're going to get the best information that is very relevant, very timely by the world's best. And we're going to do it in a way where it's highly summarized. So you'll be able to take action on it without having to go through a whole course to get one idea that is a year old, right? So that's the difference. This will, at the very least, cut your budget ridiculously on buying marketing courses, but it's also your insurance policy to always know what the latest and greatest that's currently working in any area of online business, which if you're going to have a business online, you definitely want.
Awesome. Got a couple more questions here. Cindy really wants to know, will this work for dropship general merchandise product companies? So if you do drop shipping.
It will if, like, you know, you're driving traffic, if you're trying to convert. Yeah, of course it will. Doesn't matter what you sell as long as you're selling something.
All right. Here's a good question from Gabriella, who wants to know, can you help us get in touch with one of the members? You know, if there's someone in Steeler Winners and the customer would like to get in contact or maybe make a is it okay to ask or like possibly make a connection?
As far as the contributors go, well, can't promise that. What you can do is you can reach out to our customer support, and they will forward it to the customer support of that individual. So we can certainly make that happen. And if you tell me, like on a Q&A call, about some amazing opportunity for someone, I would certainly pass it along to them. So I wouldn't, you know, we're not a switchboard, and that's not our main goal, is putting people in touch with our contributors. But if it's something that we feel is very valuable for our contributors, we certainly would. But yeah, that, and if you had a question about a specific tactic, you could ask that in the Facebook group, because everyone else who's consuming it, generally we have a lot of high level people consuming it. They'll be able to answer your question as well. And we have a bunch of contributors who are all members of the Facebook group as well. So that's another way you could tag them in the Facebook group. And if they're on Facebook, they will come.
Awesome. Cindy, yeah, Cindy's asking again, so do you cover B2B? Absolutely, right?
Everything that is related to online selling, whether it's B2B, if it's e-commerce, info, affiliate, does not matter.
Yeah, a lot of people are coaches or consultants. Get a lot of value. All right. I think that kind of covers it for our questions.
Oh, one thing that we do though, we do have links. John answered that. Below every interview is a link that will take you to whatever the contributor asked us to link to. So that's the easiest way. But you know, if it's something bigger than that, you can contact our customer service and we'll relay the message. Can't promise that they'll follow up, but we can promise that we relay the message. So I hope that as many of you as possible take us up on this offer. I promise you that you probably hear people say they're going to raise the price, whatever. Like, it really, in certain ways, it pains me to sell at this low of a price point. And another way, it makes me feel really good about being here right now, making this offer for you. Because at the end of the day, I'm in this business to help entrepreneurs live the life that only entrepreneurs can live. And like, the way that I get myself ready for any of these webinars is like, I really think about like the opportunity that I have right now to impact you guys by getting you to avail yourself of this opportunity, because I know that if you do, the likelihood of your success goes up dramatically, right? I cannot tell you the difference that having these strategies and having access to them will make for you, right? But it only will if you use them, but we'll be there every month giving you new ones, right? And so really, like, if I were pricing this on value, it would be multiple times more. Our goal is to get really as many people into this program and benefiting from tactics that, more people should know. So that is at least how I'll end things here. And I just want to thank you guys for helping me, Carlos and Matt, and thank you for everyone that stuck around. I appreciate all of you guys, and I look forward to talking to you on the other side in Steal Our Winners. And for those of you who have availed yourself, I look forward to those 3 times when we're going to talk one-on-one in the group, where you're going to tell me what it is that you want my help with, and I'm going to do my level best to help you with that. And I'm going to do that in front of my best customers, my coaching clients. So that I'm not going to do anything less than my best job.
Great. Wise words to end it. So thank you all for the hundreds of you that are still on. I see Michael, congratulations on making that wise decision. And everyone else who bought earlier, we want to say thank you once again. Matt, if you had anything else, but Rich, thank you. I'm going to say on behalf of Jay, we were really looking forward to this. So thank you for everyone for investing the past 3 hours. We appreciate you. For those that stay to the end. Snehal, I hope I'm saying that right. Congratulations for signing up as well. Have a blessed night and God bless.
Very cool.
Thank you, Carlos, and bravo, Rich, and thank you everyone for attending.